Chapter 835. Young Master Jun regrets. Oh, I hit it. I won, right? Alright, I've scored a goal. Yushu didn't think that she'd actually be able to hit a jump ball, either. She was just giving it a try. Whether she succeeded or not depended on Shield Bro's strength. But now, it seemed like Shield Bro was really good. With that, Yushu picked up a pool ball of her own design and tossed it into the bag. Jun took a deep breath. He wasn't willing to give up, but he couldn't do anything about it. He had boasted before, but he couldn't say that he was unlucky and Yushu won the game. Okay, it's my turn now. Jun took a deep breath. This time, he couldn't make any mistakes, otherwise, he would really lose this game. Yushu only had 2 balls left in her suit. If it was any other time, Jun wouldn't take it seriously. They were just beginners and he could win no matter what. But it was different now. The game was a little strange. Previously, he had hit 2 jump balls. Logically speaking, he did not use much strength. Could it be that the cue ball was too light? Jun couldn't figure it out, but since he couldn't figure it out, he decided to use less strength this time. Jun aimed at a ball of his color and hit the cue ball. Lin Yi also felt that Jun used less strength, so Lin Yi used less energy. This time, Jun's cue ball didn't fly out of the table, but it still skipped over his target ball and flew into the pocket. Jun was speechless. This time, he purposely used less strength, but he still hit a jump ball. But this time, he didn't hurt anyone and hit his cue ball into the pocket. At least he didn't need to lose money and get scolded. However, Jun's face didn't look too good. He made a fool of himself again. Wow, you're so cool. You actually hit your own ball into the pocket. Are you color blind? Yushu looked at Jun in surprise. I just didn't control my strength well. It won't happen next time. Jun humphed coldly. He didn't want to argue with Yushu. The more he tried, the more guilty he would seem. Jun wanted to prove it to Yushu with his strength. There was no penalty when playing with Yushu. No matter if he hit the cue ball into the pocket or hit it into the pocket, there wouldn't be a penalty, so it was Yushu's turn. Yushu, too, realized that Shield Bro couldn't change the trajectory of the balls, only the strength of the balls. She wasn't confident that she'd be able to aim at the pocket with the 2 balls on her side, so she decided to throw the cue ball a certain distance away so that she could aim at the other 2 balls. Lin Yi saw that Yushu didn't aim at his ball, so he hit the cue ball into the other 2 balls. Lin Yi to Yushu, Yi, Lin Yi, Yi, Yushu, Lin Yi, Yushu. Lin Yi from the current angle, Meng Yarrow could easily hit the ball in front of the cue ball into the pocket as long as she aimed. Meng Yarrow already guessed that Lin Yi was helping her and it seemed like Shu knew it too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have hit the cue ball into the pocket. Without Lin Yi's help, Yushu wouldn't be able to control her strength so well and stop the cue ball at the required position. Even without Lin Yi's help, Meng Yarrow could easily hit one of her balls into the pocket. After Meng Yarrow, it was Jun's turn. Jun was a little nervous. His opponent only had 1 ball left, but he still had a few balls on his side. This time, Jun didn't dare to use too much strength. After he aimed at his ball, he used a smaller amount of strength to hit the cue ball out. However, it was still a jump ball this time. Jun was going crazy. How was this possible? Why was every ball he hit a jump ball? The cue ball jumped up and with a bang, it hit the ball that Jun was aiming at. The ball spun a few times before stopping. This time, Jun did hit the ball he was aiming at, but because of the wrong direction, the ball didn't hit the pocket at all. What the fuck? This is weird. Jun cursed. He couldn't believe it. Did his strength suddenly increase by leaps and bounds? He didn't have much strength, but why did he hit the ball with so much strength? What was going on? Meng Yarrow and Yushu only had 1 ball left. Yushu used her old strategy and hit the cue ball to a position that was convenient for Meng Yarrow to aim at and let Meng Yarrow hit it. This time, Meng Yarrow used less strength because she was nervous. However, with Lin Yi's energy replenishment, the last ball fell into the pocket smoothly. Meng Yarrow obviously felt that she didn't use enough strength, but the ball seemed to have enough strength and ran into the pocket on its own. Meng Yarrow thought that it was Lin Yi's trick again. Oh, you won, right? See? You call yourself a professional player and you want to teach us how to play. Look at yourself. Yu Shu looked at Zhen Yingjun proudly. You think you're so great just because you can hit a few jump balls? Not only can I hit jump balls, I can also hit bouncy balls. Isn't there another round? We won once each, it's just a tie now. How could Zhen Yingjun admit defeat? He felt that he didn't perform well in the second round and it wasn't Yu Shu's skill at all. Fine, let's have another round then. I'll make you admit defeat. With Lin Yi's help, Yu Shu wasn't afraid of losing at all. Are you going to let us have 3 balls again? No, I underestimated you before. I can't let you have 3 balls again. Zhen Yingjun didn't dare to let Yu Shu have 3 balls again. Yu Shu looked like a beginner, but her luck was surprisingly good. He was afraid that Yu Shu would score a few more goals by accident. Not only can you not give the ball away, but you can only play one of you, not both of you. Lin Yi said. Chapter 836. A small universe explosion. You want to go back on your word? Yu Shu looked at Zhen Yingjun and asked. I'm not going back on my word. I was just being humble before, but the third round is the deciding round, so I can't be humble anymore. Zhen Yingjun argued. Ha! The crowd burst into laughter. Wasn't he going back on his word? Zhen Yingjun thought that Zhen Yingjun was a beginner, so he lied. Now that he saw that Zhen Yingjun was good, he didn't want to be humble anymore. He was obviously going back on his word. Why wasn't he? Zhen Yingjun's face turned red from the laughter, but for the sake of his reputation, he didn't care if they laughed at him. Otherwise, as the vice president of Donghai City's Billiards Association, he would be humiliated to death if he was defeated by 2 unknown beginners. If the news got out, he would be laughed at by everyone he knew. So, it was only a small humiliation today, but it was better than a big one. Meng Yarrow and Yu Shu were also a little angry. This person obviously saw through their plan and it was impossible for one person to move the cue ball and one person to play. Oh, since you changed the rules, I'll change it too. Otherwise, it won't be fair. Yu Shu rolled her eyes and thought of a good idea. What rules do you want to change? Zhen Yingjun asked. This time, we don't care about the suit. Whoever hits more balls into the pocket wins. What do you think? Yu Shu said. Sure, are you sure you agree with what I said before? Zhen Yingjun froze. What's the point of Yu Shu's change? Even if he didn't allow Yu Shu to move the cue ball and Meng Yarrow continued to play with no suit, it would only make it easier for them to find the target. It didn't matter, right? However, Zhen Yingjun thought that Yu Shu's suggestion was the next best thing. They didn't need to move the cue ball to find their suit, they could just play directly. But did she really think that they could get the ball into the pocket? Agreed. Who's going first? Yu Shu nodded in agreement. I'll go first. I've let you guys win 2 rounds, it's time for me to start. Zhen Yingjun stood up and got ready to start. The crowd looked down on Zhen Yingjun even more. He arrogantly gave the ball to Zhen Yingjun because he thought that Zhen Yingjun was a beginner and was easy to bully. Now that he realized that Zhen Yingjun was strong, he didn't give the ball to him anymore. What a shameless person. Since Zhen Yingjun used too much strength in the previous 2 shots, he decided to use less strength this time as long as he didn't hit a jump ball. It was more advantageous for him now as he could hit a pool ball at the start of the game. Zhen Yingjun reduced the strength he used before and hit the ball out. He thought that it should be normal with the strength he used this time, right? The result was within Zhen Yingjun's expectations. The cue ball didn't fly out and it wasn't a jump ball this time either. However, the cue ball only moved a small distance forward before it stopped. Huh! Zhen Yingjun was dumbfounded. What happened? Why did the cue ball stop moving? Could it be that he had used too little strength this time? Impossible, it was just a little bit smaller than before. Why was there such a huge difference? He hit a jump ball before and the cue ball only moved a few centimeters forward this time. Zhen Yingjun rubbed his eyes to check if he was hallucinating. However, he wasn't. Lin Yi didn't help him this time and didn't give him extra energy. He only used his original strength. With his strength, he could only hit the cue ball this far. Ha 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 ha. Yu Shu burst into laughter. She pointed at the cue ball and laughed until her stomach hurt. I let you go first. Why are you acting like I didn't even hit it? I just missed. Zheningjuan's face turned red, but he didn't know what happened. Missed? Yushu obviously didn't believe Zheningjuan's explanation, but she didn't say anything. She stood beside the billiard table and said to Zhenjingjun, "Okay, I'm going to finish it in one shot." Finish it in one shot? Zhenjingjun froze. How was that possible? He quickly asked, "Isn't there a rule for consecutive shots?" I didn't say that I'm going to finish it in one shot. If I hit an elastic ball, wouldn't I finish it in one shot? Yushu looked at Zhenjingjun as if she was looking at an idiot. Zhenjingjun was dumbfounded. He finally understood what Yushu meant when she said there was no difference in colors. She wanted to hit another elastic ball. Since the elastic ball was too unbelievable, Zhenjingjun never thought that Yushu would be able to do it again. When Yushu said that she wanted to change the rules, he didn't think about it. Now, he finally understood what Yushu wanted to do. However, could she really hit another elastic ball? Zhenjingjun didn't believe it. After all, the elastic ball was beyond the scope of billiard knowledge. It was possible for Yushu to hit a jump ball, but even a world-class professional billiard player might not be able to hit an elastic ball. You can hit another elastic ball? Zhenjingjun asked in disbelief. I don't know if I can or not, but I guess I can try. Yushu blinked her eyes and raised her hands. Shield bro, please give me strength. Meng Yaro couldn't hold back her laughter, and Lin Yi was speechless as well. Fortunately for them, they didn't know what Yushu was talking about. They thought that she was chanting some sort of encouragement, since they all knew that some athletes would yell out some sort of incomprehensible chant before they made a move. Weightlifters, for example, would yell out some sort of encouragement right before they lifted the barbell. Yushu hit the cue ball, but the cue ball was nothing out of the ordinary, stopping after hitting a random billiard ball. Just when everyone thought that Yushu wouldn't be able to hit the bouncy ball again and Zhenjingjun heaved a sigh of relief, the ball that was hit by the cue ball exploded like a mini-universe. It was suddenly filled with energy and quickly collided on the table. The elastic ball was born again. Chapter 837. Can only admit defeat. The situation on the table was that not only was the ball hit by Yushu a bouncy ball, but all the balls that were hit by the bouncy ball turned into bouncy balls as well. They bounced back and forth on the table until they fell into the pocket. This was also why Lin Yi was afraid that there was only one bouncy ball. What if he accidentally fell into the pocket? Therefore, he kept injecting energy into the table so that all the moving balls could continue to move until they fell into the pocket and were forced to stop. For a moment, all the billiard balls on the billiard table fell into a state of frenzy. It was like a pinball game in a video game. Everyone present was taken aback. Impossible. This is impossible. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow the law of conservation of energy. Although Zhenjingjun was arrogant, he wasn't an idiot. On the contrary, he knew a lot of things and wasn't an idiot young master. The situation in front of him was too unbelievable and he couldn't help but roar, "Everyone look, is this possible? Do you think this makes sense?" However, after Zhenjingjun finished his words, the audience looked at him as if he was an idiot. What did he mean by possible? It happened right in front of your eyes and you're still asking if it's possible? Are you lying with your eyes open? How is it possible? Seeing is believing. Are you blind? The hoodlum who got his teeth smashed said unhappily. He got the same compensation as the hoodlum who got his chest smashed. He was unhappy, so he purposely made things difficult for Zhenjingjun. That's right, there are all kinds of strange things in the world. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's impossible. He can hit a bouncy ball. Are you convinced? Another person chimed in. Isn't that right? Just because you can't doesn't mean others can't. What a frog at the bottom of a well. Someone spoke up, and more people chimed in. You. Zhenjingjun almost fainted from anger. Wah. I'm so mad. What do you know? You're all illiterate. These balls don't exist. Don't exist. Being called illiterate, the audience was immediately unhappy. I think you're already having mental hallucinations, right? The truth is right in front of your eyes, but you insist that it doesn't exist. Sigh, you've become a fool at such a young age. What a pity. Zhen Yingjun watched as the balls on the table decreased, but there was nothing he could do. Although he didn't know what was going on, he couldn't find any loopholes. After all, no one touched the balls on the table. Even if someone did, Zhen Yingjun didn't think that this person could control every ball and make them move continuously. Who? Zhen Yingjun let out a long breath. He knew that he would be embarrassing himself if he stayed in the billiards hall any longer. He would definitely lose this round and there was no chance for him to make a comeback. He hadn't even hit the ball yet and all the balls on the table were going to turn into bouncy balls. He would definitely lose if he waited any longer. So, Zhen Yingjun admitted defeat right away. I lost, it's just 20,000 yuan. I'll give it to you. Zhen Yingjun was also happy. If he reneged now, it would damage his reputation. If these people spread the news that the vice president of Donghai City's Billiards Association reneged after losing, he wouldn't be able to face anyone anymore. Zhen Yingjun opened his wallet and realized that he didn't have enough money. He turned to Zhu Ruoguang, who wasn't far behind him, and said, "Zhu bro, lend me 20,000 yuan first, I'll give it back to you later." Zhu Ruoguang didn't dare to disobey and quickly took out 20,000 yuan from the bar counter and passed it to Zhen Yingjun. "Master Jun." Here, Zhen Yingjun took the money and passed it to Yushu. "Here's the money, I lost. But don't let me find out that you cheated, or else, humph." Although Zhen Yingjun didn't say his threat out loud, he was already furious. He didn't plan to let Meng Yaro and Yushu go so easily, but he couldn't say it out loud in public, so he had to do it secretly. After giving the money, Zhen Yingjun didn't have the face to stay in the billiards hall any longer. Seeing everyone's mocking expression, Zhen Yingjun was enraged. He quickly walked to the counter and took out a bottle of drink from the fridge. He opened it and gulped it down, calming his anger down a little. He didn't pay after he finished the drink and left the entertainment center through the side door of the billiards hall. He felt wronged and wanted to go out for some fresh air. He would feel uncomfortable if he stayed any longer. Since he lost face, he didn't ask Zhu Ruoguang to accompany him and left the billiards hall alone. Yushu didn't really care about the 20,000 kuai. She wouldn't have ignored the coins that were spat out by the arcade if she cared about the money. She only cared about the excitement of winning the tournament. "I didn't think that I, Genius Shu, could be so good at everything." Yushu stuffed the 20,000 yuan into Lin Yi's hands. I'm done. It's boring, it's nothing to me. I'm hungry, let's go home and eat." "Ha!" Lin Yi took the money and followed Yushu and Miss to the side door of the billiards hall. If they left from the side door, they could leave the entertainment center directly and didn't have to go through the arcade again. "Genius Shu? Isn't it all because of Lin Yi?" Meng Yaro didn't know how Lin Yi did it, but she knew that it had to be Lin Yi's doing. There was no doubt about it. "Oh, I know. Shield Bro is by my side and after he gave me strength, I'm Genius Shu," Yushu said nonchalantly. Meng Yaro was speechless. Why did she feel that Yushu was even more arrogant than Zhen Yingjun? Was she really Genius Shu? Zhen Yingjun walked out of the billiards hall and bumped into an old lady who was scavenging for scraps. The old lady was disabled due to a stroke. Not only was her mouth crooked, but one of her legs wasn't very nimble either. She was struggling to pick up mineral water bottles and cans from a woven silk bag. "Young man, can you give me your bottle?" The old lady saw Zhen Yingjun walk out of the billiards hall with an empty bottle in his hand and walked up to him to ask. Under normal circumstances, everyone would give their empty bottles to her. After all, it was troublesome to look for trash cans, so she might as well do a good deed. Chapter 838. Chapter 838, Shu the Prophet. How could the old lady be Zhen Yingjun's opponent? She was already old and didn't have much strength. Coupled with the fact that she was partially paralyzed, she loosened her grip and the woven bag flew out. The bottles and jars inside fell all over the ground. The old lady screamed and looked at Zhen Yingjun in fear, but she didn't dare to retort. She thought she met a hooligan. After all, she met unreasonable people like him before. The old lady could only swallow her anger and looked at Zhen Yingjun sadly. She lowered her head and stumbled to pick up the bottles on the ground. "Fuck, I'm so unlucky." Zhen Yingjun casually threw his bottle in front of the old lady and said fiercely, "Here. Trash picker." Meng Yaro, Yushu and Lin Yi just walked out of the billiard hall and saw this scene from afar. Miss frowned and felt that Zhen Yingjun was evil. How could he treat a weak old lady like this? However, before Miss said anything, Yushu objected first. Hey, how can you be so mean? Do you have any sense of civility? How can you treat the old lady like this? Can't you see that her legs are not good and she's handicapped? It's none of your business. Zhen Yingjun was even angrier. Why did this girl care so much? What did it have to do with her when he kicked the old lady? Won't you become old one day? Can you guarantee that you won't be handicapped in the future? If you're handicapped and others treat you like this, will you feel good? Yushu scoffed. It was only then that Lin Yi realized that Yushu had a warm-hearted side to her. Both she and the miss were good people. Mitch, my family is rich. Why would I come out to pick up trash? Plus, I'm so healthy, how can I become handicapped? It's unreasonable. Zhen Yingjun said in disdain. There are many unreasonable things. Have you seen an elastic ball before today? Nothing is impossible in front of me, the invincible beauty Shu. Yushu blinked. Who knows, maybe you'll become like that old granny, and the old granny's illness will be transferred to you. Right, shield bro? Psycho. How could Zhen Yingjun believe Yushu's nonsense? With a cold snort, he turned around and was about to leave. Wait, why is your back dirty? Lin Yi walked over and casually patted Zhen Yingjun's shoulder. Under the sunlight, a dazzling light flashed across Lin Yi's hand. It was the effect caused by the reflection of the silver needle under the sun. What do you mean? Zhen Yingjun froze. What do you want? It's nothing. I saw wrongly. It's this old granny who is dirty. Lin Yi didn't bother with him anymore. He turned around and walked to the old man's side. He casually poked the needle a few times on the old man's body before withdrawing it. It happened in an instant and Zhen Yingjun didn't think much of it, but Meng Yarrow and Yushu were stunned. They saw the silver needle in Lin Yi's hand. Yushu said that because she remembered that Lin Yi was a doctor and wanted to see if Lin Yi had a way to punish Zhen Yingjun. She thought that since Lin Yi could cure General Wei Wu, he must have a way to punish Zhen Yingjun. Psycho. Zhen Yingjun complained and suddenly realized that his mouth was crooked. What was going on? Zhen Yingjun touched his mouth in fear, but he realized that the corner of his mouth was curled to the side. He couldn't control it because he couldn't feel anything at all. It was as if his mouth wasn't his own. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Zhen Yingjun yelled in a muffled voice. Because the corner of his mouth was crooked, his words were unclear. On the other hand, the old granny suddenly realized that her leg seemed to have recovered and wasn't lame anymore. She was shocked. My leg, how did my leg suddenly recover? However, as soon as she opened her mouth to speak, she realized that her mouth wasn't crooked anymore and her speech became normal and fluent. What was going on? Zhen Yingjun was also stunned by the old granny's change. He wanted to walk a few steps to see what was going on, but as soon as he moved his leg, he suddenly realized that one of his legs didn't listen to him anymore. He limped and almost fell to the ground. My leg, why can't my leg work? What's going on? Zhen Yingjun screamed in fear. Meng Yarrow and Yushu were shocked as well. They didn't expect that Lin Yi could cure the old granny in such a short period of time and apply the same condition to Zhen Yingjun. Yushu was surprised. She was just joking and didn't expect Lin Yi to be so magical and actually do it. Yushu was overjoyed. Shield Bro was so nice to her. If this continued, she would become Fairy Shu and do whatever she wanted. Ha! Look at how accurate my words are. People call me Prophet Shu. Look, I told you that you could understand the old granny's feelings if you were disabled, but you didn't believe me. Are you all right now? The old granny's illness has metastasized. Wahahaha. Yushu pointed at Zhen Yingjun and laughed excitedly. Which angel bro showed up? This is great. Zhen Yingjun was shocked at first, but after hearing Yushu's words, he looked at the old granny again. The old granny was no different from a normal person now and his symptoms were exactly the same as the old granny's. What was going on? Was he really being punished by the heavens? Thinking back to the unbelievable things that happened today, Zhen Yingjun looked at Yushu in shock. Was this person even human? Was she a deity who came down to the mortal world to punish him? Otherwise, why would everything related to her become unreasonable and couldn't be explained with common sense? The illness metastasized. This didn't conform to modern science. It was possible that it was an infectious disease, but how could the old granny's disability be contagious? Zhen Yingjuan's heart was filled with horror. You, what did you do to me? Zhen Yingjun looked at Yushu in fear. He was a superstitious person, and once such a thought formed in his heart, it became more and more unbelievable. Chapter 839. Cure and cure no need, no need. Zhen Yingjun was truly afraid of Yushu now. If someone pointed a gun at him, Zhen Yingjun wouldn't be afraid, but the unknown that he had never experienced before scared him out of his wit. He didn't dare to let Yushu make a prophecy. If Yushu said that he would be hit by a car later, would he still be alive? Zhen Yingjun felt that he shouldn't stay here for long. He didn't think about taking revenge on Yushu because he felt that he couldn't fight back with his own strength. What was this? This was like a deity's manifestation. Otherwise, how could he explain the bouncy ball? Now that he thought about it, the jump balls he hit might have been arranged by the heavens. Otherwise, how could he hit them? When he thought about the strange things on the billiard table, the ball that was obviously weak seemed to have taken stimulants. How could he explain this? He didn't think much of it before, but now that he thought about it, the more he thought about it, the scarier it was. He had been fighting against a deity. How could he win? Now, the old lady was a cripple and she was fine, but he was crippled. He didn't dare to imagine what would happen next. He was so scared that he turned around and ran away with a limp. This place was too scary. After he got home, he needed to ask a few deities to perform a ritual to get rid of the bad luck on him. He didn't think that he was really crippled or had a crooked mouth. He thought that he was possessed by something unknown and he needed to ask a deity to perform a ritual. I know. Little girl, you must be a deity sent by the heavens. Only a fairy would have such a great magical power like yours. The old lady wasn't stupid. How could she not know that it was Yushu's doing when she saw that her sickness was transferred to an evil person in the blink of an eye? How could an ordinary person do such a thing? It must be done by a deity. As a result, the old lady subconsciously treated Yushu as a goddess, and was about to bow to Yushu. Yushu was shocked. How could she let the old lady bow to her? She quickly held on to her. Grandma, please don't do this. It's not my doing. No matter how thick Yushu's skin was, she couldn't pretend to be a deity in front of the old lady. However, how could the old lady believe it? She only believed in what she saw. If it wasn't for Yushu, how would that gangster be punished? How would she be cured? Meng Yarrow and Yushu had no choice but to leave quickly. The old lady might have to kowtow again later, and they wouldn't be able to handle it. It wasn't until they got in the car that Meng Yarrow asked Lin Yi curiously. Lin Yi, how did you do that? Yeah, shield bro, how can the old grandma's illness be transferred? Yushu asked curiously. Lin Yi shrugged and started the car. The old lady's illness is just a side effect of a stroke. In other words, it's just a blockage in her meridians. It can be cured with acupuncture. It's just that her family is poor and she hasn't been to the hospital before. Lin Yi was right. The old lady's illness wasn't an illness. It was just a side effect of the blockage in her meridians. Therefore, acupuncture could be used to cure it. However, in order to cure it instantly, Lin Yi had to transfer energy into her meridians. However, Lin Yi didn't tell Meng Yarrow and Yushu because they wouldn't understand even if he did. What about Zhen Yingjun? How did he suddenly get the same illness as the old lady? Meng Yarrow knew that Lin Yi was a great doctor. Her poison and General Weiwu's injuries were all cured by Lin Yi. However, it was easy to cure but hard to cure. How did Lin Yi create the illness for Zhen Yingjun? Oh, it's the same principle. I used acupuncture to seal a few of his meridians, Lin Yi explained simply. In fact, he used energy to seal the meridians which caused the current situation. I see. Yushu suddenly understood. There's so much logic in it. Shield bro, what's with the pool? Pure energy. Lin Yi didn't know how to explain it and could only blame it on pure energy. Oh. Yushu knew about pure energy but didn't know much about it. She didn't ask further after hearing Lin Yi's explanation. Zhen Yingjun didn't dare to stay any longer and hurriedly went to find his father, Zhen Dazhou. Zhen Dazhou was shocked when he saw his son Zhen Yingjuan's condition. He was still fine when he left the house in the morning. How did he turn into such a miserable state when he got home? What was going on? Dad, today's incident is really strange. I've never encountered such a weird thing. Zhen Yingjun didn't hide anything and told his father everything that happened today. Dad, how is this possible? It doesn't make sense at all. Did he encounter something unclean? That's possible. Zhen Dazhou was in the business of living on the edge and he was more superstitious. After hearing Zhen Yingjuan's words, he also felt that it was unbelievable. Elastic balls and such didn't make sense at all. You mean, those two women might not be humans? Fairies? It's possible. Zhen Yingjun quickly nodded. Those two girls are so beautiful. How can normal people look like that? I've picked up countless girls but I've never seen such a beauty. Now that I think about it, there's something wrong. Zhen Dazhou took a deep breath and turned to Zhu Tiandi who hadn't spoken a word. Brother Tiandi, what do you think? Zhu Tiandi didn't know the truth and didn't know which deity Zhen Yingjun offended. He was worried that his son, Zhu Ruoguang, was in trouble as well, so he was distracted. I think Brother Dazhou's guess is possible. Maybe he encountered something unclean. Brother Tiandi, do you know any deities? Do you want him to do the ritual for Yingjun? Zhen Dazhou didn't dare to delay. It was better to solve this problem as soon as possible. However, he didn't even think about going to the hospital because according to Zhen Yingjuan's description, this was a sign of being possessed. How could he be sick? Moreover, it's impossible to suddenly have a crooked mouth and limp legs. Who heard of such an acute illness? Chapter 840. How? Okay, money is not a problem. We must get a great deity here as soon as possible, Zhen Dazhou said. People like him who were involved in the underworld were afraid of very few things. If they were afraid, they wouldn't have done such illegal things. But the more they did guilty things, the more afraid they were of ghosts and deities coming to punish them. That was why Zhen Dazhou's house had many ghosts and deities. But what he was afraid of was what happened. Something happened as soon as he arrived at Songshan. Zhen Dazhou's heart ached as he looked at his son's crooked mouth and limp leg. Son, please ask the great deity to protect you and let you return to normal as soon as possible. Okay. Zhen Yingjun prayed in his heart in fear. Zhu Tiandi turned around and left the room. He didn't contact the great deity first and called his son, Zhu Ruoguang. Zhu Tiandi saw Zhen Yingjun leave in anger and didn't dare to chase after him. He decided to let him relax by himself. Zhu Ruoguang wasn't stupid. He was calculating in his heart that since Zhen Yingjun offended Lin Yi, should he stay away from him in the future? He couldn't be friends with this person. He'd be dead if he dragged him into this. Dad, what's wrong? Zhu Ruoguang picked up his father's call. Ruoguang, do you know about Zhen Yingjun? Zhu Tiandi asked. He's possessed. Possessed? What do you mean? Zhu Ruoguang froze. He wanted to tell his father that Zhen Yingjun offended Lin Yi and ask him to stay away from Zhen Yingjun. He didn't want House Zhu to be dragged into this. However, he heard that Zhen Yingjun was possessed. He froze and didn't know what happened. How did he get possessed? Wasn't he fine before? Oh, you don't know? That's right, he got possessed after playing pool. Zhu Tiandi told his son how Zhen Yingjun got possessed and asked, Ruoguang, are you alright? If you're fine, stay away from Zhen Yingjun and don't drag you into this. Dad, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. Zhu Ruoguang was even more certain after hearing how Zhen Yingjun was bewitched. The father and son from House Zhen should stop messing around with them. They were dead meat for offending Lin Yi. He hurriedly said, Dad, how is he bewitched? Do you know who he offended? Do you know who he played pool with? Oh, not possessed. Who did he offend? Tiandi paused, feeling like his son knew the truth. I've offended Hayoshi Lin, Zhu Ruoguang said in horror. The person who played billiards with him is Hayoshi Lin's friend. He made Hayoshi Lin unhappy, so he naturally became like this. Dad, didn't you say that Hayoshi Lin is omnipotent and omnipotent? Tiandi was shocked when he heard the name Hayoshi Lin. He thought to himself, I was wondering why Jin Yingjun became like this. He offended Lin Yi. That's normal. If he offended Lin Yi, he wouldn't be able to call himself an immortal anymore. Ruoguang, these Jin's father and son are the bane of our existence. It seems like our discussion with them this time was a failure. I don't want to play with them anymore. Let them figure out their own business with the gambling boats and send them away. Don't drag us into this, Tiandi said decisively. Yeah, that's what I think too. This Jin Yingjun doesn't know what's good for him. He even wanted to hit on the two girls around Lin Yi. I told him that Lin Yi is very powerful, but he didn't listen. What happened in the end? Did he cause trouble? Zhu Ruoguang sighed. Alright, I got it. That Hayoshi Lin didn't vent his anger on you, right? This was what Tiandi feared the most. As for the father and son from House Jin, it had nothing to do with him. No, there was a redhead who offended Hayoshi Lin and I taught him a lesson. I could tell that Hayoshi Lin was quite satisfied with it. Zhu Ruoguang said carefully. That's good. Tiandi nodded. Alright, I've already done my best by contacting a shaman for Jin Yingjun. Just send them away. Although Tiandi was stepped on by Lin Yi many times, he still had a lot of connections in Songshan. It didn't take long for him to contact a famous shaman. The shaman's name was Aku and he was quite famous in this area. Anyone who had a wedding or a funeral would ask him to perform a ritual. However, no one could say for sure whether there was a method or not. Some people said that he caught evil spirits with his bare hands, and some said that he could talk to the dead. However, whether this was the case or not, only the evil spirits that were caught and the dead who talked to them knew. After Aku arrived, he started jumping up and down to perform a ritual for Jin Yingjun. He chanted the spell for 100 times and placed a yellow talisman on the tip of the peachwood sword. He mumbled something and suddenly shouted. He ignited the yellow talisman and extinguished it in a bucket of water. He brought it to Jin Yingjun and said to Jin Dazhou, Master Jun was possessed by something called a vengeful spirit, that's why he has all these weird symptoms. I've already caught the vengeful spirit, but the evil energy in Master Jun's body can't be dispelled in a short period of time. He must drink holy water for 3 days to recover. Master, thank you for your hard work. Jin Dazhou saw Master Aku baring his fangs and brandishing his claws like Monkey Sunday. Jin Dazhou believed his words. This is the promised incense money. Please don't reject it. Sure. Aku looked at the thickness of the red packet. It was around 50,000 yuan and he smiled as he kept it. Jin Yingjun drank the water mixed with paper ash. He didn't know if the evil energy was dispelled, but he did have diarrhea. Ever since he drank the bowl of holy water, he started to have diarrhea and it didn't get better even after a whole night. However, Master Aku told him that this was the detoxification stage and he had to expel the evil poison out of his body. Jin Yingjun thought that his mana was effective and happily stayed in the toilet. The Zhu father and son maintained a cold attitude as they stood on the side. They didn't believe that a shaman could cure the illness that Hayoshi Lin created for Jin Yingjun. However, they didn't say anything. It was fine as long as they knew it in their hearts. Why did they have to listen? What did Jin Dazhou and Jin Yingjuan's life and death have to do with them? What if God Lin finds out and blames the Zhu family? What if he blames them? Chapter 841. Chapter 841, Master Bing's new idea: paper ash mixed with cold water. You're going to shit too. Zhu Tiandi wasn't stupid. Was that something a human could drink? Wouldn't he die if he drank it? You're right. Zhu Ruoguang nodded. I think that Aku is obviously a liar. Only idiots like Jin Yingjun and his son would give 50,000 yuan? What an idiot. 3 days passed by in the blink of an eye and Jin Yingjun didn't show any signs of improvement. Instead, he had diarrhea and looked like he was going to faint at any time. Jin Dazhou saw that it wasn't working. His son wasn't getting better at all. Instead, it was getting worse. Hence, he quickly dialed Master Aku's number and wanted to ask him to take another look. However, Master Aku's phone was turned off. At this moment, Jin Dazhou finally realized that he was tricked by Master Aku. However, who could be blamed for this? Although Master Aku was found by Zhu Tiandi, Zhu Qiandi said that he didn't know any immortal and could only help. The immortal came with Zhen Dazhou's permission before treating Zhen Yingjun. The incense money was also given by Zhen Dazhou willingly, so Zhu Qiandi couldn't be blamed for this. Zhen Dazhou was furious. Zhen Yingjun was his only son and he doted on him a lot. This time, he came to Songshan to expand his family's business and bring his son along to broaden his horizons. He didn't expect such a disaster to happen. For a time, Zhen Dazhou also became a lot more haggard in one night, and the number of white hairs on his head also increased. Zhu Qiandi looked at Zhen Dazhou who was sighing and Zhen Yingjun who was in so much pain on the bed. He said sympathetically, "I don't think he's possessed. Should we go to the hospital?" Zhu Qiandi thought that since Lin Yi transferred the old lady's injury to Zhen Yingjun, then Zhen Yingjun must be sick too. What does it have to do with being possessed? This sentence reminded Zhen Dazhou. Zhen Dazhou rushed to the hospital with his son. After the doctor's examination, they came to a conclusion. Zhen Yingjuan's current condition was similar to the sequelae of stroke, epilepsy, and cerebral hemorrhage. There wasn't any immediate treatment for it, so he suggested to go to traditional Chinese massage and acupuncture. After hearing the doctor's words, Zhen Yingjun and Zhen Yingjun finally understood that they weren't bewitched. The sequela of the paralyzed old lady was transferred to Zhen Yingjun. Although she didn't know how it was transferred, the disease did run to Zhen Yingjun. Zhen Yingjun wanted to cry but no tears came out. Why? Wasn't it because he kicked that old lady's knitting bag? But she didn't have to be so ruthless, directly transferring her illness to herself. The father and son were very depressed. They were fooled by the shaman, but they found out that the truth was not the case at all. Moreover, this disease was not easy to treat. The Chinese medicine hospital's explanation was also very simple. No one could guarantee a complete cure. This kind of sequela could only be treated. Maybe it could be alleviated, and there might be a miracle. After the examination, Zhen Yingjuan's meridians were not normal block. His condition was different from the old lady's. The old lady's condition was real sequela, but Zhen Yingjuan's was a disease created by Lin Yi's energy. The condition of the blocked meridians was also different from normal sequela. In other words, Zhen Yingjuan's body looked normal on the surface, but his meridians were blocked by a strange force. This made the Chinese medicine hospital's doctors feel strange. When they asked about Zhen Yingjuan's medical history, Zhen Yingjun was too embarrassed to say that he was cursed by the gods and could only answer vaguely. However, the more it was like this, the more the doctors couldn't find a suitable solution. They could only let him treat it first. Treat it? How could Zhen Dazhou let the doctors treat him? He only had one son and now he became like this. If he didn't cure him, what was the use of having a huge family business without anyone to inherit it? Thus, Zhen Dazhou panicked and asked Zhu Qiandi to investigate the upper class of Songshan City to see if there was a miracle doctor who could cure Zhen Yingjuan's condition. Zhen Dazhou was willing to pay 1 million as a reward. Zhen Dazhou was really panicking, otherwise he wouldn't take out so much money. He brought Zhen Yingjun to many specialists but none of them had a good treatment plan for Zhen Yingjuan's condition. There were big hospitals and private clinics, but they all said they would treat him. No one promised that they could cure him. The cooperation between Zhen Dazhou and Zhu Qiandi was temporarily put on hold. In fact, Zhu Qiandi was happy to see this. He didn't dare to have anything to do with the Zhen father and son anymore. These two unlucky bastards offended Lin Yi and caused such a huge disaster. How could he cooperate with them? Dream on. However, Zhu Qiandi was unhappy that since the Zhen father and son didn't want to cooperate, they should just leave. Why were they still here? Didn't Donghai also have great doctors? Why did they have to stay in Songshan City? In fact, Zhen Dazhou still had some superstitious thoughts in his heart. He thought that since Zhen Yingjuan's problem happened in Songshan City, there must be a solution in Songshan City. There was a cycle of cause and effect. This was the reason why he insisted on staying in Songshan City temporarily. In the floating cloud bar, Xihua reported the recent happenings in Songshan to the wheelchair-bound Zhao Qibing. The demolition went smoothly, and the residents of the slums happily moved away after receiving the compensation. It was just that the compensation was a little too much for them to pay. After reporting about the demolition, Sihua told Zhao Qibing about what happened to the Zhen father and son from Donghai and how they asked for help. He didn't expect Zhao Qibing's eyes to light up after hearing it. He said he's going to pay 1 million as a reward. This business seems to be quite profitable. That's true. After all, life is more important than money. Sihua nodded and said, and I heard that Zhen Yingjuan's illness is quite strange. He got it because he offended Lin Yi. There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world, especially when Zhu Tiandi and Zhu Ruoguang knew about it. There was no need to keep it a secret. In the upper class of Songshan City, everyone basically knew that Zhen Yingjun offended Lin Yi and got what he deserved. Who was Lin Yi? He was the ruthless person who crippled Zhao Qibing and pushed down Qibing's skyscraper. Those young masters with a high status all knew about this, but they didn't dare to bring it up because of Zhao Qibing's power. Chapter 842. Master Bing's wisdom. He got it because he offended Lin Yi? What does that mean? Did Lin Yi create his illness for him? Yarowang held a grudge against Lin Yi. He always thought that if he claimed to be the second best in the world of medicine, no one would dare to claim to be the first. Previously, he thought that Lin Yi recovered quickly because of Guan Shuamin's help. Yarowang also thought that Guan Shuamin was the one who solved the poisoning incident in the school, so he wanted to compete with her. But after Li Delay's incident, Yarowang realized that it wasn't what he thought. Lin Yi was the hidden medical master behind the scenes. Everything was caused by Lin Yi. I'm not sure about that, but the situation was really weird. Sihua recounted the situation, his hair standing on end. It was said that in a split second, the old lady's illness was transferred to Zhen Yingjun. It's really weird. I don't know if it's true or not, or if it's just a rumor or something else. Sihua said as he recounted the situation to Zhen Yingjun. It said that in a split second, the old lady's illness was transferred to Zhen Yingjun. It sounds really weird. I don't know if it's true or not, a rumor or something. The old lady's illness was transferred to Zhen Yingjun? Yarowang didn't quite believe Sihua's words. You're saying that the old lady had hemiplegia and her crooked mouth and lame legs were transferred to Zhen Yingjun all of a sudden? Is that so? That's what I heard. Sihua nodded. Logically speaking, that's impossible, Yarowang sighed. Yarowang thought for a moment and said, however, it's possible if you have high medical skills. However, you don't have to transfer it. Instead, you have to cure the old lady's illness first and then create the same illness on Zhen Yingjun. One is to cure the illness, and the other is to control it. It seems to be a transfer, but that's just an outsider's understanding. Hiss. Sihua sucked in a cold breath. In such a short period of time, Lin Yi cured one and controlled another? I can do that too. The king pharmacist snorted and said with some conceit, I, the king pharmacist, am not best at healing, but at harming people. This kind of insignificant skill is nothing to me. I see. I thought there was something wrong with this whole thing, but after Yawang's explanation, I see. Sihua nodded. Forget it, let's not talk about him anymore. Since that's the case, let's not talk about him. Master Bing, about the demolition of the orphanage. Wait, let's put the orphanage aside first. I've thought of a better way to make money. Zhao Qibing waved his hand. When he heard that Zhen Dazhou invested 1 million to treat Zhen Yingjuan's illness, he started to plan this. Treating illnesses is quite profitable now. Look at that miracle Dr. Guan. People are thanking him profusely for treating people's illnesses. Why don't we start treating people as well? Those rich people are all very rich, and nothing is more important than their lives. We can also treat them and make money. Master Bing is wise. Sihua heard Master Bing's words and thought that this was indeed a way to make money, but he didn't know if Yarowang would cooperate. He turned around and looked at Yarowang. I'm sent by the head of the house to assist Master Bing. I, Yarowang, will do whatever Master Bing says. Yarowang didn't think much of it. No matter what he did, he would serve House Zhao, so it didn't matter to him. He just felt that the price was a little low. With his skills, was it only worth 1 million to treat an illness? He said in a roundabout way, Master Bing, but we can increase the price of the treatment, of course. If I were to earn 1 million, how long would it take? Zhao Qibing laughed and said sinisterly, isn't Yarowang the best at harming people? That's easy, we'll treat him and charge him 1 million, but we won't cure him. We'll transfer his illness to another place and let him come to us for treatment. That way, we'll be rolling in money, won't we? Of course, we have to do it discreetly, we can't let them see through us. That's brilliant, really brilliant. Zihua said in admiration, Master Bing, you're really smart, coming up with such an evil plan. I didn't even think of it. Of course, MPH, don't we have a miracle Dr. Guan, Dr. Kang or something like that? We'll have a Zhao Yarawang, and once we make a name for ourselves, we'll have as much money as we want. Zhao Qibing said proudly. Master Bing's idea is quite feasible. Yarawang didn't object. He was a sinister person, healing and harming people was his forte. This way, the profit from one patient wouldn't be as simple as 1 million. Medical skills could save lives, but it could also harm people. Medical practitioners were proficient in the structure of the human body. This was especially so for TCM practitioners. They could even create illnesses through certain means. Nowadays, most doctors studied medicine to save people. Even if there were some who only cared about profits and worked for money, they would still save people after receiving the money. But there were also some who weren't like that. They studied medicine not to save people, but to harm people. These people were originally close officials of the royal court and some nobles. They created illnesses so that some princes and officials could lie to the emperor and hide from the limelight. For example, if there were two factions fighting in the court, and the princes or the prime minister didn't want to get involved, they would claim to be sick to avoid it. Naturally, the emperor wouldn't believe them and would send the royal doctors to investigate. At this time, these people would play their role, creating fake illnesses to deceive the royal doctors. But as the dynasty changed, some of these people followed the fallen nobles and scattered among the people. They set up their own shops and began to walk among the rich, treating these rich people. But these people used to earn a lot of money from the noble families, and the medical fees weren't enough to satisfy their desires. So, these people started to treat some rich people, but they would never be cured. They would always have a backup plan, and they would keep collecting high medical fees until the rich person's money was drained. Then, they would cure all the illnesses according to their mood, or they would just ignore them and let them die. Chapter 843. The Zhun family seeks medical treatment. However, he still had the ability to cure illnesses, so he agreed to Qibing's suggestion. Go spread the news that Yarawang is starting to make house calls, specializing in solving difficult and complicated illnesses. Qibing said, of course, you have to reveal that Yarawang is the private doctor of a hidden house. Okay, Master Bing, I understand. Zihua nodded. Qibing's way of earning money was not bad, and there was no danger involved. Now, tell me about the orphanage. Why, is there a problem? Qibing asked. It's like this, after we went there last time, wasn't the old dean a golden class master? I was thinking of asking Yarawang to come out and scare the old dean into giving us the orphanage's territory. Zihua said. There's no rush. You can handle Yarawang's house calls first. After all, we'll be able to see the money soon. It'll take some time to demolish the orphanage, Qibing said. Okay, Zihua nodded and went out to spread the news. Zhen Dazhou asked Zhu Tiandi to find out about the miracle doctors who served the rich. He felt that normal doctors couldn't cure Zhen Yingjuan's illness anymore. Only miracle doctors could. Heaven rewarded those who worked hard. Zhen Dazhou didn't think that House Zhao's private doctor would make house calls so soon. As one of the reputable people in East Ocean City, Zhen Dazhou naturally knew some news about the hidden aristocratic family, the Zhao family, who was entrenched in East Ocean City. However, people like him didn't have the chance to interact with the Zhao family. Even so, he knew that the Zhao family was a very powerful existence. When he heard that House Zhao's private doctor made house calls, he quickly sent Zhen Yingzhan over. From his perspective, House Zhao's private doctor must be much better than the doctors outside. And so, Zhen Yingzhan became Yarawang's first patient. What's going on? Yarawang glanced at Zhen Yingzhan, whose face was crooked and legs were cramping. He pretended that he didn't know anything and asked faintly. My son, Zhen Yingzhan, I don't know why, but he was possessed and became like this. Jean Dazhou thought that there was no need to talk about the process of his son's illness. He might as well talk about the illness. What's your son's name? Zhen Yingjun. Ha, he's really handsome. Zhao Qibing couldn't help but chuckle when he saw Zhen Yingjuan's current appearance. How was he handsome at all? Jean Dazhou knew Zhao Qibing. He knew that he was a famous young master in Donghai City. He had heard of his background as a hidden noble house, so when he saw Yarawang beside him, he didn't suspect anything. He trusted Yarawang wholeheartedly and sincerely allowed him to treat him. He didn't dare to get angry when he saw Qibing laughing. He smiled bitterly. My son used to be quite spirited, but now he can't even go out and meet people. Everyone laughs like Master Bing when they hear his name. Zhao Qibing couldn't help but laugh, but he regretted it after laughing. He was trying to get money from Dazhou. How could he piss him off? But after hearing Dazhou's words, Zhao Qibing breathed a sigh of relief. This Dazhou was quite smart. He knew when to advance and retreat. He said, Yarawang, why don't you take a look at him? Yarawang nodded and glanced at Zhen Yingjun. He understood the problem after a brief examination. Lin Yi's treatment was simple. He only used pure energy to seal a few of Zhen Yingjuan's acupoints. Even without treatment, he would recover in 8 to 10 years. Of course, Yarawang couldn't say this out loud. It can be treated, but it's very complicated. Yarawang pretended to be profound and said to Dazhou, Mr. Medicine King, I beg you, please cure my son's illness. As long as you can cure Yingjuan's illness, just tell me your conditions and I will do my best. Jean Dazhou was overjoyed when he heard that the Medicine King could cure his son. He had seen many doctors and they were all helpless. Zhen Yingjuan's illness isn't an illness, nor is he possessed. Someone did something to him, Yarawang said indifferently. This isn't a normal sequela of a stroke. Although it looks similar, there's a world of difference between them. Jean Dazhou couldn't help but nod after hearing Yarawang's words. Someone did something to him? No wonder normal hospitals couldn't do anything. Ah, someone did something to him? Zhen Yingjun was shocked. He suddenly remembered that the person named Lin Yi patted him a few times and he fell sick after that. Could it be that he did it at that time? He couldn't help but exclaim, yes. It must be Lin Yi's doing. Dad, I know. Lin Yi. Yarawang pretended to be surprised after hearing Lin Yi's name. What did you say? Lin Yi did something to you? Yes. What's wrong? Zhen Yingjun froze. Yarawang, do you know this person named Lin Yi? Jean Dazhou didn't think that his son had been tampered with because it sounded a little unbelievable, so when his son talked about the process, Jean Dazhou didn't pay much attention. But now that Yarawang said that his son was done to him and that he knew the person his son suspected, he couldn't help but ask. Of course I know him. Yarawang nodded. This Lin Yi is a medical expert. He's good at saving people but he's also good at harming people. How could I not know him? Ah. Fuck. So it was Lin Yi's doing. I'm going to kill him. Zhen Yingjun was furious after knowing the truth. Zhao Qibing sneered at the side. You want to kill him? Who do you think you are? I wanted Lin Yi dead for a long time, but now my leg is broken, Uncle Zhu is bedridden, the building collapsed, I lost money, but Lin Yi is still alive and kicking. But Zhao Qibing didn't say it. He didn't mind the father and son of Zhen Yingjun looking for trouble with Lin Yi. Even if they couldn't kill Lin Yi, it was good to make Lin Yi suffer. Jean Dazhou coughed and glared at his son. Even if you want to take revenge, you have to wait until you're better. Can't you tell which is more important? Jean Dazhou stopped his son and turned to Yarawang. Yarawang, between you and that Lin Yi, who's more powerful? Humph, I can cure the illness he created. Who do you think is more powerful? Yarawang didn't answer the question directly. Chapter 844. The treatment gets worse, sure, but I can tell you the theory behind it, Yarawang said. You've heard of pure energy, right? Other than us ordinary people, there are some practitioners who can use pure energy. Of course I've heard of it. My relative is also a mystic division master. Jean Dazhou nodded, but it was more or less an exaggeration. That mystic division master wasn't his relative at all, but someone he hired to deal with an enemy. It was just a relationship of interest. Oh, it's easy now that you've heard of it. Yarawang continued, Lin Yi used pure energy to seal Zheningjuan's meridians, causing them to be blocked. That's why he's in such a condition. It looks like the sequela of a stroke, but it's actually not. It's more complicated than a stroke. I see. Zhen Dazhou listened to Yao Wang's explanation and became even more nervous. Then how do I cure it? I can only use my acupuncture and my true qi to neutralize it one by one, but it consumes a lot of my energy and it's not something that can be cured in a day, so the process is more complicated. Yarowang sighed. To be honest, it's not easy to treat this patient. Yarowang, you have to save my son. If you don't do anything, what will happen to Yingjun in the future? Although his crooked mouth and crippled leg won't affect his life, it'll be a joke if he goes out. Zhen Dazhou panicked. We can discuss the consultation fee. Can you please do me a favor? Because I have some history with Lin Yi, and your son is the first patient I've ever seen, so I'll just have to help him. Yarowang said, but let's make this clear. I'm not a charity and I'll take a certain fee. Let's set the fee at 1 million per visit. Okay. Zhen Dazhou nodded quickly. 1 million per visit wasn't a lot. His son's condition was too complicated, even 10 million couldn't cure him. Alright, since you've agreed, I'll transfer the zhenqi in your son's body today. I'll transfer it from his legs to his hands, and from his mouth to his ears. This way, one of his ears will be crooked, and one of his hands will be useless. On the surface, he'll look like a normal person. As for your ears and hands, I will slowly dissolve them for you. Medicine King said. Alright, that would be great. When Zhen Dazhou heard this, he realized that it was possible to transfer his true qi. After transferring it, it wouldn't be too obvious. That was great. His ears and hands could slowly recover in the future. As long as his appearance looked like a normal person, it would be fine. Alright, since you've agreed, I'll start the treatment now. The Yarowang nodded, took out the silver needles, and prepared to start the treatment. In fact, Lin Yi was only punishing him lightly. Lin Yi didn't want to create a complicated disease, so Yarowang could easily solve it. Yao Wang's so-called transfer was to heal Zheningjuan's mouth and legs, then use the same method to seal the meridians around his ears and hand. It sounded like a diversion, but in fact, it was to create an opportunity for him to make money next time. Or else, 1 million was a little too little. Yarowang had already set a goal to squeeze at least 10 million from Zheningjun. Soon, under Yao Wang's acupuncture, Zheningjuan's mouth and legs returned to normal. However, one of his ears was deaf and one of his hands couldn't feel anything. However, these problems were hidden and couldn't be seen on the surface. Zhen Yingjun and Zhen Dazhou were naturally grateful to Yarowang. After paying the fees, they agreed on the next time and left happily. Looking at the father and son from Housezhen leaving, a cold smile appeared on Zhao Qibing's face. 2 idiots, just wait to give me money. Master Bing, I've decided to get 10 million from the father and son from Housezhen. What do you think? Yarowang told Zhao Qibing his idea. 10 million? So little? Zhao Qibing frowned. I heard that Zhen Dazhou is very rich. His assets are over 100 million. You should get at least half of it, right? 50 million. Hiss. Yarowang was shocked. Master Bing was a ruthless man. He was even more ruthless than him. He thought that 10 million was a lot, but Master Bing asked for 50 million straight away. However, Yarowang couldn't understand why Zheningjuan's problems were worth 50 million. He couldn't help but ask, Master Bing, 1 million for 1 time and 10 times for 10 times, isn't that a lot? Are you stupid? Zhao Qibing glared at him. Can't you make more problems when you treat him? This shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Do you need me to teach you this? Zhen Yingjun is a man who enjoys alcohol and women. If you make him impotent, let's see if he'll ask for help with a lot of money. If you're afraid of suspicion, then just do it to Zhen Dazhou and make that old man's sexual function fail. I understand, Master Bing. Yarowang heard Zhao Qibing's words and was enlightened. Even a black-hearted doctor like him wasn't as black-hearted as Master Bing. Master Bing was too black-hearted. Almost all the famous people in Songshan knew that Zhen Yingjun had a strange disease. It caused a huge commotion and it wasn't a secret that Zhen Dazhou asked Zhu Tiandi to search for a doctor. However, The news that Zhen Yingjuan's disease was cured by a new Zhao Yarawang shocked everyone. In the past, everyone in Songshan knew that Guan Shuamin was a miracle doctor. They didn't expect that there would be another Zhao Yarawang who seemed to be even better than Guan Shuamin. Everyone saw Zhen Yingjuan's condition. His mouth was crooked and his legs were lame. They went to the hospital for a checkup, but there was nothing they could do. However, after Zhao Yarawang injected a few needles, a miracle happened. Zhen Yingjuan's legs were no longer lame and his mouth was no longer crooked. Zhen Dazhou didn't want to tell others that he was deaf and couldn't feel his hands. He only said that his son was cured. This way, it was an advertisement for Zhao Yarawang. In an instant, everyone knew that there was a Zhao Yarawang in Songshan. His medical skills were incredible and he was even better than Miracle Dr. Guan. As a result, Zhao Yarawang's fame spread like wildfire. In the future, when the rich and famous people wanted to see a doctor, the first person they thought of was Zhao Yarawang. After all, Zhao Yarawang had cured someone before. Zhen Yingjun was indeed alive and kicking now. Chapter 846. Chapter 0845. Hiring a spokesperson. What does Zhao Qibing want to do? Could it be that he learned how to make money from you? Fatty Lai asked curiously. I'm afraid he lost a lot of money recently. He didn't have the initiative in the slums area, so he probably won't be able to make much money. So, it's understandable that he's thinking of other ways to make money. Lin Yi could guess Zhao Qibing's intentions, that Yarawang, he does have a way to treat people. This kind of thing has nothing to do with us. Yeah, let's ignore him then. It has nothing to do with us for now. Fatty Lai nodded. No matter how Zhao Qibing acted, as long as he didn't provoke Lin Yi, it wouldn't matter. Lin Yi just laughed it off because there were more important things waiting for him. The first batch of products from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was about to hit the market. Let's not talk about him. Didn't you call me here to talk about the product? Lin Yi had a lot of free time these few days. Tang Yun's problem was solved. He didn't know whether Zhong Pingliang and Jian Wen were discharged or not, and Zhao Qibing had quieted down quite a bit. Zhu Ruoming fawned on Lin Yi even more than when he saw his own father. This made Lin Yi relax for a few days. Other than accompanying Miss and Shu Tuan from school, he would only see Tang Yun during breaks. His days were peaceful and leisurely. This was the life that Lin Yi yearned for. There were no conflicts every day, and he could protect the people he loved, quietly savoring the little things in life. Lin Yi didn't know how long these days would last. If it was possible, Lin Yi hoped that it would last forever. However, although life was peaceful and it made Lin Yi feel comfortable, Lin Yi still kept his guard up. Yu Kuan went back. No matter what, Lin Yi had a feeling that he was leaving a threat behind. It was just that house you hadn't made any moves yet. As for Zhao Qibing, Lin Yi didn't believe that he would just let it go like this. Who knew if he would come up with some weird tricks to deal with him? Yes, the first batch of our injury medicine is ready and can be launched at any time. Fatty Lai said, however, when our company opened, we didn't hold any ceremony. Although Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company is quite famous outside, we still need to hold a product launch for the release of a new product. Press conference. Why is it so troublesome? Lin Yi didn't think that launching a product into the market required such a complicated process. Yeah, it's just a way to show the company's strength. It's just like Qibing Real Estate Company's building completion ceremony. Fatty Lai was an expert in business, so it was natural for him to be able to make sense of it. It's just that we ruined his completion ceremony. If that's the case, then it's up to you. Lin Yi felt that he wasn't doing his job as a hands-off boss. He knew nothing about business. If it weren't for Fatty Lai, a follower he'd met halfway, it would have been hard for him and Shuamin to run the company. All right, then I've decided. Fatty Lai nodded, because our company's publicity is almost done. Now is the best time to go public. Once our product is launched, there will be a lot of media outlets promoting us for free. But, according to the usual practice of many companies, they usually hire celebrities to boost the popularity of their new product launch. Celebrities? You know them. Lin Yi wasn't interested in celebrities and he didn't watch TV. To him, celebrities weren't as cute as the girls at home. I don't know. Fatty Lai smiled bitterly, but money makes the world go round. As long as we're willing to pay, it's easy to hire a spokesperson. Oh, it's up to you then, Lin Yi shrugged and said indifferently. Then, boss, do you have any good candidates in mind? Fatty Lai knew that many companies hired celebrities to be their spokesperson not only to bring popularity to their products, but also because the boss of the company was a fan of the celebrity. So, Fatty Lai wanted to ask Lin Yi which celebrity he liked. Candidate. Lin Yi paused. He didn't know any celebrities, so how could he know? But suddenly, a name popped up in his head. Is there a celebrity called Xu Shahan? Lin Yi remembered buying Xu Shahan's album for Miss and Xu. He also saw Miss and Xu watching her concert in the villa. She was quite an eye candy, jumping around on the stage. But he didn't know if she would still look good after removing her makeup. Ah, yes. Fatty Lai was shocked when he heard the name. He nodded. Boss, Xu Shahan is a top singer, Fatty Lai calculated in his heart. How much would it cost to hire Xu Shahan to be their spokesperson? Xu Shahan was super popular right now. A lot of middle school students were her fans. Her status must be high. But since it was Lin Yi who suggested it, Fatty Lai didn't say anything. He just had to try his best. Oh, then invite her. Lin Yi didn't think that Xu Shahan was powerful, so he didn't think much of it. He only heard that Miss, Xu, and Tang Yun were her fans. Lin Yi just wanted to invite them to have some fun. As for Lin Yi himself, he didn't even look at celebrities in detail. Naturally, he wasn't her fan. Okay, I'll try my best. Fatty Lai nodded and noted it down. Oh right, boss, are you going to the product launch? Me? I'll pass. Lin Yi shook his head. This medical company was just for fun. Lin Yi wanted to use it to earn some pocket money. But as his friendship with Miss Xu deepened, Lin Yi didn't feel like he was living under someone else's roof anymore. Although, Lin Yi didn't know if it counted as friendship. Anyway, Missy didn't look down on him anymore. Furthermore, Missy was someone who didn't care much about money. So now that the medical company was established, it was a public service. It was impossible to earn money in a short period of time. The price of the medicine was set low, so it could compete with Dr. Kang's golden creation. Fatty Lai knew that Lin Yi always kept a low profile, so he asked before. Since Lin Yi didn't want to participate, he didn't force him. He continued, Boss, about Kang Xiaobo and Fen, I've arranged it like this. What do you think? Chapter 847. Company of Swindlers. Kang Xiaobo, I've arranged for him to be the company's intern vice president, mainly in charge of marketing, Fatty Lai said. The current executive vice president in charge of marketing is a friend of mine, and is only here to help out. With him guiding Kang Xiaobo, I believe it won't take long for him to graduate as an apprentice. Alright, I'll leave it to you. Lin Yi didn't expect Fatty Lai to arrange things so well, and it surprised Lin Yi. As for Xiaofen, I'll arrange for her to work in the quality inspection department, but the position of quality inspection manager is empty at the moment. It won't be too late to arrange for her to be the manager after she gets used to it, Fatty Lai explained. You've thought it through. Lin Yi was a classic example of nepotism, but whether it was Kang Xiaobo or Xiaofen, they wouldn't become arrogant because of this relationship. Although Kang Xiaobo was Lin Yi's follower, wasn't the company's general manager Fatty Lai also Lin Yi's follower? With Kang Xiaobo's grades, he wouldn't be able to get into any university, at most a third-rate one. It wasn't because he didn't study hard, but because Kang Xiaobo wasn't talented enough. He wasn't as smart as the Miss and Yushu, and he didn't have much of a heart. No matter how hard he studied, he could only maintain a below-average standard. Songshan's Songshan was a good school, but that didn't mean that every student could get into a famous university. Students like Xiaobo, who weren't good at studying, could get into a better university if they had some connections or money, but those who didn't have any connections or money could only get into a third-rate university. Kang Xiaobo had thought things through a while ago, so he decided to put his studies aside and put his energy into managing the company. He could just get into a third-rate university to pass his time, and when the company had some results, he could study for an MBA or something. It wasn't a bad way out. Evidently, Kang Fu and Kang Mu had thought it through as well. What was the point of studying hard for 10 years? Wasn't it just a good job in the future? Now, he had a job, and it was a deputy general manager. In this day and age, even if you were a PhD student who had returned from abroad, without any experience or connections, it was impossible to give you a deputy general manager position. After Lin Yi left, Fatty Lai started looking for connections and connections. The contact information of the celebrities in the entertainment industry might be a secret to the common people, but it wasn't the same for the rich businessmen. They were always looking for endorsements, and the entertainment companies were more than willing to work with them. Fatty Lai quickly found the entertainment company Xu Shahan belonged to and contacted her manager. Needless to say, the manager of a superstar like Xu Shahan was very arrogant. She picked up the phone and hurriedly asked, "Who are you? What's the matter?" The way she spoke made Fatty Lai frown, but he still said patiently, "Hello, I'm from a company, and I want to cooperate with Miss Xu Shahan." The manager's tone softened a little after hearing that Fatty Lai was from a company, but it was still cold. "Which company are you from? What kind of strength? Why would he want to collaborate with Miss Xu? Are you attending an event or endorsing a product?" The manager couldn't be blamed for being cold. There were a lot of people calling to harass Xu Shahan, and the manager couldn't be more annoyed every day. Before confirming the identity of the person calling, she couldn't let her guard down. "Hello, I'm the CEO of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, Lai Changyi. I'm looking for Miss Xu Shahan to endorse our company's product, and also to attend a new product launch." Fatty Lai could see that the manager was a straightforward person, so he didn't waste any time and said his purpose directly. "Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company?" The manager was startled and asked, "Is it Guan Shuamin's company?" "Yes. Miracle Dr. Guan is Guan Shuamin." Fatty Lai nodded. It seemed like the manager knew about his company. "Guan Shuamin's company, isn't it a scammer company?" "What Miracle Dr. Guan, it's a scammer." The manager's tone turned nasty, and before Fatty Lai could say anything, he hung up the phone with a bang. Do. Fatty Lai looked at the phone and didn't know if he should laugh or cry. How did Guan Shuamin become a scammer? His own company, how did it become a scammer company? When did he offend Xu Shahan's manager? "Wang sis, why are you talking so loudly? Why are you calling him a scammer?" A heavenly voice sounded from behind Sister Wang. A girl wearing a bathrobe, with fair skin and a slight blush, walked over. She looked like a fairy who had just come out of the bath. Her hair was still wet, and it was casually scattered. Her pretty face didn't have the slightest bit of makeup on, but she still looked very lovely. She was the superstar Xu Shahan who had countless fans and was the idol of many middle school and university students. But at this moment, she didn't act like a superstar at all. She walked behind the manager like a mischievous girl and bent down to look at her phone, wanting to see who she was calling. "Han, are you feeling better?" Wang Sis's cold expression changed, and a concerned expression appeared on her face as she turned to look at Xu Shahan. I'm fine. Xu Shahan shook her head and smiled sweetly. "Wang Sis, don't worry about me." "Right, you haven't told me yet. What happened before? Also, Wang Sis, why is your temper so bad these days? You're always so cold when you pick up the phone." "It's not that I'm cold, but there are some entertainment reporters who always pretend to be fans and collaborators, spying on this and that. It's annoying me." Wang Sis sighed. "Looks like I'll have to change the phone number after a while. Too many people know this number." "But, what if it's really a call to collaborate?" Xu Shahan nodded and asked. "I can tell with just a few words whether it's a collaboration or not. Some people have too much money and purposely call to have fun. Our Han isn't that kind of person. If you want to chase after a celebrity, go find someone else." Wang Sis had been a manager for a few years, and she had a pair of sharp eyes. The companies that could really afford to collaborate with Xu Shahan were all big and famous companies, not some unknown small company. Chapter 848. The celebrity's strange illness. When she grew up and entered the entertainment industry, it was Wang Sis who acted as her manager, shielding her from the wind and rain. Although Wang Sis wasn't her real sister, in Xu Shahan's eyes, she was more or less like a real sister. Now that she was earning money, Xu Shahan would always split the income into two, one under Wang Sis's name. Although Wang Sis didn't want it, Xu Shahan still insisted. "No, It's a scammer company. Wang Sis shook her head. It's that Guan Shuamin, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. It's been hyped up on TV and newspapers recently, but it's actually a scammer, haha. Xu Shahan heard Wang Sis's words and couldn't help but smile helplessly. Wang Sis, Elder Guan is an expert in the medical world, how can he be a scammer? If he's not a scammer, then why can't he cure your illness? After acupuncture for so long, there's no improvement at all. He even said that he could cure it. Wang Sis said with disdain. You can't say that, so many hospitals couldn't cure it either, right? It's just that my illness is a bit strange. Xu Shahan didn't think that Guan Shuamin was a scammer, since her situation was too complicated. Forget it, we have to have a conscience when we're endorsers. If he can't even cure your illness, how can he call himself a miracle doctor? We can't just let you lie with your eyes wide open, right? Wang Sis said indifferently. Xu Shahan heard Wang Sis's words and couldn't help but smile and shake her head. It's not like there aren't such celebrities. Fake endorsements, there's a lot of them nowadays. I think I should call Master Guan and apologize to him. He was very attentive when he treated me. Do what you want, this kind of scammer, why bother with him? Wang Sis was a person who had a clear distinction between love and hate. She had a very strong personality, unlike Xu Shahan, who was pure and didn't have complicated thoughts. However, for someone like Xu Shahan, if it wasn't for Wang Sis, her manager, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. Xu Shahan smiled and picked up the phone. She found the number and called Xu Amin, but his phone was turned off. She could only put this matter aside for now. Fatty Lai didn't manage to invite Xu Shahan, so he quickly called Lin Yi, but Lin Yi didn't think much of it. He heard that Xu Shahan's manager was a cocky one, so he gave up on the idea of finding a spokesperson. Jian Wen didn't have a good time these days. The pressure from his family and the Fire Wolf gang made it hard for him to breathe. Fortunately, before the kidney trafficking organization was destroyed, Jian Wen had earned a lot of money for his family and the Fire Wolf gang. Jian Wen's brother, Enchanting, was in charge of organ trafficking in Songshan. Although he didn't get into any trouble, he had to spend money to buy kidneys. The turnover was small, and the cost was high. So, his annual profit wasn't even as much as Jian Wen's monthly profit. This was also the reason why the Fire Wolf gang and house and didn't take Jian Wen back. Jian Wen was quite arrogant and unscrupulous, but one had to admit that he was an expert at making money. He'd made tens of millions of profit in 1 month, and even the leader of the Firewolves North had to look at him in a different light. At this moment, Jian Wen was lying on the sofa, receiving a call from his father. Jian Wen, you're still too young. You're too reckless this time. Jian Wen's father, and Ming Yu, said seriously. Look at your cousin, he's been in Songshan for a year, and although his results aren't as good as yours, he's stable. Isn't he being used by the Fire Wolf gang now? Dad, I'm just trying to show Grandpa and the Fire Wolf gang what I want, right? Our family, ever since I left the country, the business in the north has been handed over to my uncle. Our family's position in Haosan and the Fire Wolf gang has been plummeting, Jian Wen said bitterly. Idiot. I may have given up on the business in the north, and I'm now the liaison between the house and the Fire Wolf gang. It may seem like I'm not as glorious as your uncle, but in reality, every transaction with the Fire Wolf gang comes from your father. And Ming Yu said. Otherwise, why do you think the Fire Wolf gang would put you in charge of the business in Songshan when you just came back? As for your brother, is he really valued by the Fire Wolf gang? He's only going to the border to deal with the drug dealers. It looks like he's making a lot of money, but do you know how dangerous it is? Which one of those foreign drug dealers isn't a murderer who kills without blinking an eye? I understand, Dad, I was too reckless. Jian Wen thought about his father's words and felt that it was true. But the organ smuggling business won't last long. And Gender had already attracted the police's attention when he started it. It's fine if it's stopped now. You've made quite a lot of money for the Fire Wolf gang, so we'll let this go, and Ming Yu said. Fortunately, the head of the Fire Wolf gang's northern branch is a cruel man. He likes your unscrupulous way of making money, and with me coming back from the middle, he finally agreed to give you a new job. What? A new job? That's great. Jianwen was overjoyed when he heard his father's words. He was still thinking about what he should do in the future. How was he going to pursue Mengyaro without a kidney and a career? Now, a new career had arrived so quickly. Yeah, the most profitable business is prostitution, drugs, and organ smuggling. As for the sex industry, there are local gangsters everywhere. We shouldn't interfere. And Mingyu said. As for drug trafficking, your cousin is already in it. What you need to do now is gambling. Oh, you want me to build a casino? Jianwen could roughly guess his father's intention. Yes, but not a normal casino. It's an underground boxing ring. And Mingyu said. Normal casinos are also controlled by local gangsters. It's not good for us to interfere. That's why we're doing the boxing business. Not only can we sell the tickets, but we can also bet on the outcome of the fights. It's a very profitable business. No problem, leave it to me. I'll do it well this time. Jianwen nodded. But I don't have anyone else I can use. The tattooed guy already took the blame for me. Chapter 849. Jianwen's kidney transplant. Don't worry, father, I know what I'm doing. But can you send me another person who can run errands? Otherwise, these two won't be able to help me take care of things. Jianwen wasn't an idiot. One was a fighter, and the other was a doctor. They were both important figures in the Firewolves, and so he couldn't just use them as scapegoats. The kidney trafficking company had taught him a lesson. He had to have a backup plan. He was lucky enough to escape this time, but he had to be more careful next time. He had to prepare a scapegoat for his crimes. Otherwise, the next person to go to jail would be him. Haha, of course, you don't have to worry about that. And Mingyu smiled. I've found a suitable candidate. He's a wanted criminal, and he only has a junior high schooler at home. He can help you. How could An Mingyu not know what his son was thinking? Plus, he didn't want anything to happen to Jianwen, so he had to arrange everything in advance. Oh, so this person doesn't have anything to worry about? Jianwen asked quickly. Nope, he only has a junior high schooler at home. After he committed the crime, he lied to his brother, saying that he went overseas to work. And Mingyu said. I've already sent some money to his brother a few days ago, saying that his brother won't be back for a while. That's good. Jianwen nodded. Leave this arena to me. I'll make it great for you. Jianwen hung up the phone. He was very excited. The second spring of his career was about to come. He thought that he would be neglected by the Firewolves for a while, but it seemed like his father's relationship with the Firewolves wasn't just a shallow one. But when he thought about the fact that the Firewolves sent a mystic early phase peak wasn't going to be his bodyguard or fighter, Jianwen felt a little depressed. How great would it be if this person was his subordinate, then he could be arrogant and tyrannical in Songshan City again. In fact, Jianwen didn't have a decent follower. Otherwise, he wouldn't even care about Zhao Qibing. What was an illegitimate son of a hidden house? Even the direct descendants of the hidden families had to be respectful in front of the Fire Wolf Gang's division leader. This was also why Jianwen didn't give Qibing any face. Qibing knew that Jianwen had the Firewolves behind him, so he didn't dare to act recklessly. However, the secrets of the Fire Wolves were only known to those who stood at a certain level. Zhao Qibing knew a thing or two about them and knew that the Fire Wolves were not to be messed with. Zihua, on the other hand, had no idea how strong the Fire Wolves were. Right now, Jianwen felt that all he needed was a kidney, and he'd be able to regain his glory. Now that he had a career and powerful subordinates, all he had to do was install a kidney and he would once again be one of Songshan's 4 young masters. Jianwen hung up his father's call and was about to call Pinliang, but Pinliang's call came in before he could make the call. Jianwen picked it up quickly. Hello. Brother Pinliang? How was it? Are the results out yet? Hey, we're out. Pinliang pretended to be in pain and said worriedly, it really isn't a match, my kidney. Pinliang bro, I'm sorry for your loss. I'll get you a good kidney for sure. Look, is your kidney? Jianwen asked carefully. Yeah, since it's yours, I'll have to return it to its rightful owner. Pinliang sighed. And bro, you can't forget me in the future. You have to get me a good kidney. Of course. When do you think we should do the surgery? Jian Wen was worried that something might happen if something went wrong. The sooner the better. There's no rush, right? My body's been through a couple of surgeries, and I'm still very weak. I need to nourish my body before the surgery, right? Pin Liang said, troubled. Plus, the surgery fee is quite expensive. I'll have to discuss it with my dad first. The surgery fee is not a problem. Of course, I'll pay for it. How can I let you pay for it, bro? Jian Wen said quickly. As for your body, we can nourish your body after the kidney transplant, right? How about this? I'll give you some nutrition fees, and you can buy some supplements or something. I see. Pin Liang was overjoyed. Jian Wen, you idiot. I'm giving you a dog kidney and you're giving me money? What an idiot. But he didn't show it on his face. Since an bro says so, I can't really say no. I guess that's the only way. But how much can you give me for the nutrition fees? How about 500,000? Jian Wen gritted his teeth. That was half of his private stash. The rest of it was given to the firewolves and Hausen. He was feeling a little heartache. But he had a career now, and he had a kidney. What was this little bit of money? It was a double blessing for him. Okay, right? Then when do we get the kidney transplant? Jian Wen asked anxiously. And bro, since you're in such a hurry, I won't delay it any longer. How about tomorrow? Pin Liang said. The private clinic that's doing the checkup here can do the surgery. I've already contacted Xiaofu. Okay. Tomorrow then. Pin Liang bro, thank you. I'll treat you to a feast then. Jian Wen was overjoyed by Pin Liang's words and quickly thanked him. After Pin Liang hung up, Xiaofu asked, Liang bro, how was it? Did Jian Wen agree? He did. We'll get the kidney transplant tomorrow, and then give me 500,000 as compensation. Pin Liang said. Is everything ready on your side? Everything's ready. We can do the surgery any time. Gao Xiaofu cackled and said, Brother Liang, I've also prepared a mad dog. I bought a mad dog from the dog hunting team. This mad dog is really hard to catch. Ha 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 ha, we'll get that Jian Wen a mad dog kidney. We'll play him to death. Who told him to screw me over? Take my kidney away. Pin Liang started laughing as well. Jian Wen, just you wait. The best part is yet to come. When Zhong Naipao comes down from the mountain, it'll be your death. That's true. When Gunslinger comes out, no one will be able to fight him, Xiaofu said with anticipation. Liang bro, when do you think we can go see Naipao? Chapter 850. Yu Xiaoke, are you depressed? I know that. Xiaofu nodded. The two of them had grown up amidst great joys and sorrows. How childish were they when they thought back to what they'd done? But how many people hadn't been childish before in their lives? How many people hadn't grown up amidst failure? Pin Liang and Xiaofu's thoughts had deepened, and they no longer showed their hatred on their faces and fought their enemies head-on. They now knew how to use schemes and strategies. The next morning, Pin Liang and Xiaofu arrived at the private clinic they'd agreed on earlier. This clinic was under Tsihua's jurisdiction, and Xiaofu was able to easily reach an agreement with the doctors here using Tsihua's name. Jian Wen thought that it'd be hard for a normal clinic to complete a kidney transplant, but after seeing the size of this clinic, he let go of that worry. This clinic wasn't small at all, and they could even perform appendectomies and cholecystectomies. A kidney transplant shouldn't be a problem at all. Pin Liang pretended to sigh as he chatted with Jian Wen, and with Xiaofu's help, he walked into the surgery room and laid down on the bed. The doctor injected anesthetic into Jian Wen first, and in order to not arouse Jian Wen's suspicion, he pretended to inject the anesthetic into Pin Liang as well. In fact, Jian Wen was being very careful this time. He'd removed the wrong kidney last time, so naturally he'd be more careful this time. It wasn't that he thought that Pin Liang would lie to him, but he didn't suspect Pin Liang at all. Why would Pin Liang want a rejected kidney? Since Pin Liang had promised to return the kidney to him, Jian Wen didn't think too much about it. He was just worried about the doctor's skills. After a while, a wave of drowsiness hit him, and Jian Wen fell asleep. Pin Liang, who should have fallen asleep as well, sat up abruptly and got off the bed. He looked at the sleeping Jian Wen and spat on the ground before calling out to the surgery room. Xiaofu, open the door and let the dog out. All right, Liang bro. Gao Xiaofu pushed a surgical cart over, and on the cart lay a big black dog that had already been anesthetized. Dr. Zhong, sorry to trouble you. Gao Xiaofu said to the chief surgeon with a smile. Don't worry, there won't be any problem. I don't dare to replace a human kidney, but a dog kidney is not a problem. Anyway, it's fine even if it's damaged, right? Dr. Zhong nodded and asked. It's fine if I die, Pinliang said nonchalantly. The rest was left to Dr. Zhong, and Pinliang and Xiaofu left first. Xiaoke was very depressed these days, almost to the point of being depressed. Chibing Real Estate wanted to demolish the orphanage, but before she could think of a good strategy, her source of income was cut off. Recently, the city's anti-theft campaign was in full swing, and Yu Xiaoke realized that there was a plainclothes police patrolling every few steps. She didn't have a chance to make a move. Moreover, committing a crime at a time like this was no different from asking for death. Although what she did wasn't enough for Lingshan to issue a wanted order for her, who knew if Lingshan told her subordinates about her appearance? What if she was recognized for being sneaky? However, she had to go out and earn money. The orphanage's expenses were getting higher and higher, and if this continued, they would be running out of money. Xiaoke was depressed and anxious. Xiaoke, what are you doing? You're walking around the house, and I'm getting dizzy, the dean couldn't help but ask when she saw Xiaoke walking around like a headless fly. Master, the police are starting to crack down, I can't go out and work anymore. Xiaoke sighed. I need to think of a way, it seems like I need to spread the news and get a few big deals. Lin Yi sighed and said. Xiaoke, it's been hard on you. The dean looked at Xiaoke with heartache. If it wasn't for the fact that I can't show my face in public, I really want to share some of your burden. You're only 18, and you should be enjoying your youth without any worries, but you have such a heavy burden on you every day. Master, you're treating me like an outsider. You treat me like a daughter, and I share your burden. Isn't that what I should do? Xiaoke didn't think that she was suffering much. It had been so many years, and she was used to it. Now, all she wanted was to earn money so that the children in the orphanage could live a good life. Xiaoke, you're not young anymore, right? One of my biggest wishes is for you to marry into a good family, get rid of your current hard life, and live a happy life. The dean looked at Xiaoke and suddenly said. Me? Marry? Master, don't joke with me. Xiaoke shook her head. Who dares to marry me? I'm a female thief, who dares to marry me? That's not important. If you don't say it yourself, who would know? The dean didn't mind, just change a place and hide your name. Change a place and hide my name? No way. What about the children in the orphanage? How can I leave them alone? Xiaoke shook her head. So, whoever marries me has to bear the burden of the orphanage. Who would dare to marry me? Even if I'm as beautiful as a goddess, it's impossible, right? Plus, I'm not even a sky immortal yet. The dean sighed and didn't say anything else on the topic. He knew what Xiaoke was thinking. How could she think about marriage before the orphanage's problems were solved? And if it was as Xiaoke said, marrying her would have to bear the burden of the orphanage, then no one would dare to marry Xiaoke. Xiaoke was pretty, but she was used to playing around outside, and she was a female thief. Which rich family would want a girl like that? If it was a small family, who would be able to bear the burden of such a huge orphanage? But then again, even if those rich families were willing to marry Xiaoke, why would they help her bear the burden of the orphanage? They were rich, but they couldn't afford to spend money like that, could they? The orphanage's expenses went up to $1 million a year. How expensive were things nowadays? Chapter 851. House Kang's urging. What else can we do? We have to try, right? At least our sect's Qinggong is good, and we're good at mechanisms. We're better than them. Yu Xiaoke said proudly. Last time, I helped them rob tombs. If it wasn't for me, they'd be dead already, just be careful. The dean knew that Yu Xiaoke had made up her mind, so he didn't try to persuade her anymore. The orphanage couldn't lose its income, or else it wouldn't be able to survive. Yu Xiaoke posted a mission on the thief store's website and waited for people to accept it. But normally, once a mission was issued, there wouldn't be people looking for it immediately. So during this time, Yu Xiaoke decided to do something. After thinking about it, she felt that she didn't have any skills. The only thing she could think of was to sell flowers in front of the hospital. The risk was low, and she could still make a profit. After thinking about it, she brought Xiao Ken and the older kids to the wholesale market to buy some flowers. They started selling flowers in front of the first public hospital. In fact, there was a local boss who controlled the sales of flowers, but he knew Yu Xiaoke. He knew that she was a cat burglar, and that she wasn't someone to be messed with. He also heard about the crackdown in the city, so he knew that Yu Xiaoke selling flowers was just a temporary measure. It wouldn't last long, so he turned a blind eye to it. Kang Mingming laid on the sickbed. Luckily, his legs were only fractured, and not comminuted. It was a relatively light fracture. But as the saying goes, it takes 100 days to recover from an injury. Even if Kang Mingming had some good medicine, he wouldn't be able to walk in a short amount of time. Fortunately, the wheelchairs were more intelligent. They could move forward and backward, and they could even turn corners. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong followed them, so it didn't take too long. Today was the day that Kang Mingming was discharged. Other than the terminally ill, it was a good thing for normal people to be discharged, but Kang Mingming wasn't in a good mood. Guanxin hadn't visited Kang Mingming ever since she'd laid in bed for so many days. Kang Mingming's main reason for staying in the hospital was to get close to Guanxin, but now that he hadn't gotten close to her, he'd suffered for a few days in vain. Shubin, do you have any other good ideas? Kang Mingming was panicking. His family had been calling him all the time, urging him to get Guanxin as soon as possible. But his leg was broken. Where would he get the chance to get Guanxin? Master Ming, I don't think we should use the excuse of being sick to get close to Guanxin, Wang Shubing said after some thought. Nonsense. You think I don't know? Even Guanxin is starting to get suspicious. If I get sick again, even if she doesn't think I did it on purpose, she'll still think that I'm an unlucky bastard who gets sick all the time. Who would want to be friends with me? Kang Mingming snorted. Plus, which patient she's in charge of has such a bad injury? She won't be able to control it well if it's light or heavy. Yeah, but I really can't think of any good ideas. Wang Shubing said carefully. The guides on picking up girls on the internet are all bullshit. They're just to trick people. There's no practical use at all. What are they saying on the internet? Kang Mingming asked. They're all about drugging her, getting on the car first and then paying for the ticket. Wang Shubing said. What the fuck, you're on porn, right? What kind of nonsense is this? Kang Mingming heard Wang Shubing's words and knew that it was impossible. If he drugged Guanxin, it'd be good enough if she didn't hate him to death. How could she tell him the formula? To hell with it. Yes. Yes. Wang Shubing wiped the sweat off his forehead. Didn't you tell me to go see her? But he didn't dare to refute. As they were talking, Kang Mingming's phone rang. Kang Ming picked it up and saw that it was his brother Kang Jiaolong. He quickly picked it up. Brother. Jiaoming, I heard that you're leaving the hospital today. How's it going? Jiaolong had something to discuss with Kang Mingming, but Kang Ming had just been discharged from the hospital. As his brother, he had to visit him. I'm alright, but I still have to sit in a wheelchair. Brother, what's up? Kang Mingming asked. Isn't it that thing? Jiaolong sighed. The Xiao family came looking for Grandpa to force the marriage. They even brought a mystic class master. Motherfucker, are they trying to scare us? That's why you need to hurry up and get Guanxin to give us the prescription. No matter what you do, you have to get it done as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll have no choice but to marry Wang Xinyan. Kang Mingming thought that marrying Wang Xinyan would be a beautiful thing. If he was the one to marry her, he'd be more than happy to do so. But he also knew that if House Kang really had the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, they'd have a qualitative leap. With this formula, they'd become one of the most powerful houses in the world. Although the aristocratic families that had consumed the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing didn't publicly announce the effects of the pill, they had secretly sent people to the Kang family to inquire if they had any intention of selling the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing they had purchased at the auction. If they could, they would offer a reasonable price. Reasonable price? House Kang had already spent more than 400 million on the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Wouldn't a reasonable price be more than 400 million? It was unimaginable. But Kang Mingming knew that even if they spent 500 million, it would still be worth it to some of the older members of the big houses or even the hidden houses. One pill could extend one's lifespan by 10 years. That was money for life. It was worth it no matter how much it costs. Plus, Kang Mingming had experienced the effects of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing firsthand, and he was still benefiting from it. His cold from before, and now that he'd been smashed by the house, had healed rather quickly. It was all thanks to the changes in his body. If it were the old Kang Mingming, with his weak kidneys, he'd be lying in the hospital a long time ago. As a result, once House Kang got the formula and refined the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, wouldn't all the other houses have to give them some face? At that time, the Kang family would be promoted to an aristocratic family, and that would be a matter of course. "I'll hurry," Kang Mingming said. "But we can't rush this, right?" Chapter 852. Oh. Injury medicine formula? Raw material supply? Raw material supply? What do we need that for? Kang Mingming didn't understand what Jiaolong wanted. If we find out that their formula is the same as our golden creation, we can sue them for patent infringement. Jiaolong said, as for the raw material supply, we can contact them and ask them to sell all their raw materials to us. That way, Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company won't have any raw materials to sell. If they can't make the product, then the formula will be useless. Is that so? I understand. I'll try my best to find out. Kang Mingming nodded. It's best to find out first. If the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing isn't easy, we can put it aside for now, Jiaolong said. Jiaolong said, after all, House Kang's biggest competitor is Miracle Dr. Guan's company. Okay. Kang Jiaoming replied. In his mind, he was thinking about how to get Miracle Dr. Guan's formula and the source of the raw materials. Did Guan Xin know about this? But even if she didn't, he could find out. It seemed like he had to get Guan Xin first. After hanging up, Kang Mingming was panicking. Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company was going to release their new product next month. It would be too much of a rush to get the formula before then. Wang Shubing, things have changed. We have to get Guan Xin as soon as possible. Kang Jiaoming didn't hide his intentions from his confidant. My big brother is already rushing me. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company will be releasing their product into the market next month. We need to get the formula of the injury medicine and the raw material purchasing channel before that happens. Kang Jiaoming didn't hide his intentions from his confidant. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong had helped him do some evil things before, such as murdering Xiaofan, so these things weren't a big deal in their eyes. Master Ming, that's going to be a bit difficult. Guan Xin's a pure and innocent girl with a strong sense of self-defense. With her family background, she won't be easily tempted by money. That's why our methods of picking up girls like they're dirt aren't going to work. Wang Shubin frowned and sighed. Guan Xin is a girl from a wealthy family. She likes romantic love, but we don't have much to be romantic about. Romantic? Damn it, I didn't know what romance was 10 years ago. Whenever I saw a pretty girl, I would throw money at her. Kang Mingming said fiercely, but I don't care. Think of a romantic way for me right now. I need to finish Guan Xin as soon as possible. There's no time. This. Wang Shubing was speechless. Where could he go to find romance at this time? However, since it was Kang Mingming's order, he could not disobey it. He could only think hard. Even though Zhu Xiaozhong wasn't named by Kang Mingming, there was no guarantee that Kang Mingming would ask him. So he didn't dare delay. While Wang Shubin was thinking, Zhu Xiaozhong was also thinking of a solution. You three, why are you standing in the middle of the hospital's entrance? Do you want to die? The three of them were thinking hard when they suddenly heard a loud shout. Kang Mingming looked up and saw a hearse entering the hospital. The three of them were standing in the middle of the entrance, blocking the hearse's way. The driver of the hearse was holding a wreath to pick up the deceased, but when he reached the entrance, he was blocked by Kang Mingming's group. He honked for a long time, but the three of them didn't hear him. The driver had no choice but to open the window and yell at them. However, Zhu Xiaozhong was an arrogant person. He was usually as domineering as a crab, but when he heard someone scolding him, he immediately became angry. He glared at the hearse driver and cursed, "Who are you calling courting death? You old bastard, you don't want to live anymore, do you? Do you know who I am? Why are you in such a hurry? Do you want to die?" The hearse driver was just angry at the moment, so he spoke without thinking. As long as Zhu Xiaozhong moved out of the way, he would let it go. However, when he saw Zhu Xiaozhong's arrogance, blocking the road and still speaking reasonably, he became angry. "I am in a hurry to pick up the deceased. What's wrong? If you don't move out of the way, I will run you over and give you a wreath. I will take you to the crematorium on the way." Huh! Zhu Xiaozhong wanted to continue yelling, but when he heard the driver say he would give him a wreath, he suddenly had an idea. Wreath. Flowers. Yes, if there was anything romantic, it would be giving flowers. He had seen some soap operas before. In those soap operas, the male protagonist would use flowers to woo the female protagonist. They would create a sea of flowers, and then the male protagonist would stand in the middle of the sea of flowers with a broken guitar, confessing his love. Although Guanxin wasn't a gold digger, she definitely couldn't stand such a romantic sea of flower. Every girl wanted to have a romantic courtship like this, so Guanxin was no exception. Zhu Xiaozhong was so happy that he danced with joy. His gaze towards the hearse driver was a lot gentler than before. This person was a great help to him. So Zhu Xiaozhong smiled at the hearse driver. "Thank you." The hearse driver was dumbfounded. What kind of person was this? He was giving him a wreath and he was thanking him? Was there something wrong with him? Was he crazy? Thinking of this possibility and seeing Zhu Xiaozhong's gratified smile, the driver shuddered. He suddenly remembered that this was a hospital. Could this person in front of him be a mental patient? Thinking of this possibility, the driver was shocked. It wasn't against the law for this psychopath to kill someone. He couldn't provoke him. He quickly reversed the car and prepared to leave from the back door of the hospital. He didn't want to provoke this psychopath and invite an unexpected disaster. Zhu Xiaozhong didn't have the mood to care about what the driver was thinking. He quickly turned to Kang Mingming. "Master Ming, I have a good idea." "What is it? Hurry up and tell me," Kang Mingming asked impatiently. "It's like this, we can use the flower sea tactic." Wang Shubing said, "Master Ming, we can buy a bunch of flowers and place them in the courtyard of the hospital. Then you can confess to Guanxin in front of everyone. How romantic would that be? When Guanxin is touched, she might give you a chance." "Oh, will that work?" Kang Jiaoming listened to Wang Shubin's plan and felt that it was feasible. He couldn't help but feel moved. Chapter 853. Chapter 852, Richu Xiaoke, you're right. Kang Mingming nodded. "Now that you mention it, I think so too. In those dramas, a lot of them use a sea of flowers to woo someone." However, Kang Mingming and Wang Shubing had neglected one important point, and that was the relationship between the male and female lead in dramas. It was completely different from his relationship with Guanxin. The male lead used a sea of flowers to woo someone, but it was built on the premise that the female lead already had feelings for him. It was just that the two of them had misunderstandings or conflicts, or maybe it was just a layer of paper window that wasn't broken. That was why the sea of flowers had such a powerful effect. But the problem now was that Guanxin didn't like Kang Mingming at all, and she didn't have any feelings for Kang Mingming. How could she fall in love with Kang Mingming just because of the sea of flowers? If it was Lin Yi doing this, Guanxin might have gladly accepted. Then should we go back and contact the florist? Wang Shubing saw that Kang Mingming had agreed, so he asked, "Go back for what? Can't we just buy the flowers here? It's better to do this as soon as possible." Kang Mingming was in a hurry, and he didn't want to wait any longer. "Okay, then we'll buy it now." Wang Shubing nodded and pushed Kang Mingming out of the hospital. He saw Yu Xiaoke selling flowers with the children from the orphanage. Isn't there someone selling flowers here?" Kang Mingming's eyes lit up when he saw Yu Xiaoke. What a pretty girl. But she looked familiar, as if he had seen her somewhere before. However, he had to pursue Guanxin, and he couldn't afford to cause any trouble. Otherwise, he would have gone after the little girl selling flowers. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong also felt that Yu Xiaoke looked familiar, but they didn't know where they had seen her before. However, he didn't pay much attention to it. He thought that she sold flowers at the entrance of the hospital every day, and he saw her every day when he went in and out. However, it was no wonder that Yu Xiaoke was wearing a nurse's white coat. It was a completely different image from the one she was selling flowers right now. That was why Kang Zhaoming, Zhu Xiaozhong, and Wang Shubing didn't recognize her as the nurse who tricked them and sent them to the morgue. However, Kang Mingming, Wang Shubin, and Zhu Xiaozhong didn't recognize Xiaoke, but she did. As a qualified cat burglar, Xiaoke's eyesight was quite good. She recognized the 3 fat sheep with one look, but when she saw them walking towards her, she felt a little guilty. Could it be that the 3 of them recognized him? Xiaoke was a little worried, but thinking that she was just messing with them, they wouldn't know that she was the one who stole their wallets. She calmed down and pretended not to know them. "Hey, how much are your flowers? We want to buy more. Do you have any left?" Zhu Xiaozhong's tone was arrogant, but the more he acted like this, the more people would treat him as a fat sheep. "Yes, I have as many as you want. But what flowers do you want to buy?" Xiaoke's eyes brightened. She knew that the 3 idiots were going to give her money. "We want roses." "How many do you have?" "The ones you have aren't enough for anything," Zhu Xiaozhong said impatiently. "Roses are 3 yuan each. I have as many as you want. If you don't have enough, you can plant them now," Xiaoke said. Zhu Xiaozhong felt that Xiaoke wasn't reliable after hearing her **T. He wanted to ask the flower shop nearby, but he heard Kang Mingming say something. Your words are quite interesting." Kang Mingming laughed. "Then I'll buy them from you. I want to buy 10,000 roses and put them in the hospital yard. It'll be a sea of flowers for an hour. Is that okay?" "Sure, but you have to give me a deposit first." Xiaoke was overjoyed. She didn't expect to meet an idiot like this on her first day of selling flowers. He didn't even ask for the price and ordered 10,000 roses. 3 kuai was only the retail price of a single rose. She could buy 10 of them at a cheaper price, and she could even get the packaging for free. "Deposit is not a problem, but I can't give you much. 10,000. I'll give you the rest after you get the flowers," Kang Zhaoming said. In his eyes, 10,000 kuai wasn't much, not to mention that he had just gotten some money from Tsihua. He was quite generous. Xiaoke almost laughed out loud after hearing Kang Mingming's words. 10,000. 10,000 roses didn't even cost 10,000 RMB. Currently, the price of roses in Songshan City's flower wholesale market was 50 cents, but if the quantity was large, it could be lowered to 30 cents. So only 3,000 RMB was enough. This idiot gave her 10,000 at once. What a great deal. Xiaoke estimated that she could give them 80 cents if they bargained, but these 3 didn't seem to know the market at all. They didn't bargain and even gave her 10,000 as a deposit. Of course, Xiaoke couldn't show it. She said calmly, "Okay, give me the deposit and I'll send the flowers to you." Kang Mingming and the others didn't expect that they could bargain with the price of the flowers. After all, they saw that Xiaoke was a street flower seller, and she didn't earn much from 1 flower. Plus, it was only a few kuai. Even Kang Mingming felt that it was beneath him to bargain. He was the 2nd young master of House Kang. How could he argue with a few street flower sellers? If word got out, wouldn't people laugh their heads off? Kang Mingming sent Zhu Xiaozhong to a nearby ATM to withdraw 10,000 and gave it to Xiaoke. "Here's the deposit. If you do well, there's a reward." To Kang Zhaoming, 30 or 20,000 wasn't much, so he promised Xiaoke that if she did a good job, there would be a reward. He wanted her to do a good job for him. Xiaoke's eyes lit up when she heard that there was a reward. She gave Kang Mingming some ideas. "Boss, who are you welcoming? Is it your girlfriend?" "Yes, it's my girlfriend. I want to confess to her." Kang Mingming was overjoyed when he heard that Guan Xin was his girlfriend. He was in a great mood. He nodded. "Why? Is there something? If you're welcoming your girlfriend, do you need me to prepare a sign or something?" Xiaoke thought that since she earned so much from him and got a reward, she might as well give him something as well. Chapter 854. The big battle Xiaoke was speechless. She wanted to give him a sign for free, but this guy wanted to give her money too. There was no reason for Xiaoke to reject it. So he nodded and said, "Boss, you are really straightforward. Your girlfriend must be very happy to have a boyfriend like you. Wahahaha, you know me too well." Of course, of course. Kang Mingming thought that with Xiaoke's lucky words, he would definitely be able to win today. He said to Xiaoke, "Didn't we agree on 30,000? If you do well today, I'll give you 50,000. But other than the sign, you have to buy me some other things." "Alright, boss, just say it." Xiaoke thought that she'd met an idiot today. She'd be letting herself down if she didn't rip him off. "Go get me some fireworks, a broken guitar, and a megaphone. I want to confess my love." Kang Mingming thought that in movies, other than A Sea of Flowers, there were fireworks as well, and so he took the chance to bring it up. Kang Mingming was too lazy to buy them himself, and he didn't know where to buy fireworks. He wasn't familiar with Songshan, either, so he might as well let Xiaoke do it for him. Xiaoke happily went to buy the things. As a female cat burglar, she'd been to many places in Songshan, and so she knew what was sold and what was available. She sent Ken to the flower market to buy flowers, and another to buy fireworks, and another to the second-hand market to buy a broken guitar and megaphone. Xiaoke herself went to prepare the sign for Kang Mingming. Because there were many people, the division of labor was clear, and so after Xiaoke got the sign from the photocopier, the others also brought the things back, arranging them according to Kang Mingming's requirements. Kang Mingming didn't expect Xiaoke to finish it so quickly. He couldn't contain his joy and gave the remaining 40,000 to Xiaoke without hesitation. Ken and the kids didn't think that Xiaoke would be this good. She just casually negotiated a 50,000 kuai deal. The flowers, the sign, the second-hand guitar, and the amplifier only cost 4,000 kuai in total. They couldn't believe that they had earned 45,000 kuai in just a blink of an eye. Xiaoke took the money and left. She had earned enough here, and if she earned more, people would be jealous of her. Xiaoke knew the rules here, and knew that there were flower shops in this area. In fact, these shops would send people to sell flowers in front of the hospital, and Xiaoke had stolen such a big business from them. How could the flower shop be willing to accept that? If she were to continue doing this tomorrow, these people would definitely cause trouble for Xiaoke. She knew when to retreat and took the money and left. But even so, there were still people who were jealous. The owner of the flower shop nearby looked at Xiaoke with a greedy and hateful gaze. He wasn't happy at all. If it wasn't for Mad Bull Bro telling him that Xiaoke wasn't someone to be messed with, he would have gone up and asked for a share. Seeing Xiaoke leave, the flower shop owner walked over and found Kang Mingming. "Boss, I'm from Tiandao Flower Shop. Do you need any more flowers? I have them here, and they're very complete. We're done, what else do you want?" Kang Mingming was excitedly preparing to confess to Guanxin, and this flower shop owner came over to talk to him. It pissed him off. "Go away, don't get in the way." The flower shop owner could only back off. "Then you can come to me next time, I can give you a discount." Alright, I got it." Kang Mingming waved his hand and said impatiently, "Get the fuck out." Guanxin was only a nurse in the Songshan First Hospital, but there were many people who knew her. The prettiest girl in the Songshan First Hospital was definitely Guanxin, so whether they'd talked to her or not, they'd all heard of her name. Now that Kang Mingming had put up the sign, "Guanxin, I love you," many people saw it and stopped to look, trying to guess who Kang Mingming was. Could this guy in the wheelchair be Guanxin's boyfriend? Guanxin, on the other hand, got the news very quickly. Those who knew Guanxin told her about the situation at the hospital entrance. Xin, I have big news for you. There's a sea of roses outside our hospital, and they're preparing to confess." "That's quite romantic. He's really rich," Li Xiaomai said enviously. "Oh." Guanxin only smiled faintly. "What does that have to do with me?" "How does it have nothing to do with you? That person even put up a sign, 'Guanxin, I love you,' it's obviously for you. It's already spread in our hospital." Li Xiaomai said, "I just went to the ward and the doctor there told me." "Huh? Me?" Guanxin's eyes widened at Li Xiaomai's words. She looked at her in disbelief. "Really? Are you talking about me?" "Yes." Li Xiaomai nodded. "It's really you." "Who?" Who would do that? Was it Lin Yi? Guan Xin subconsciously thought of Lin Yi, but when she thought of Lin Yi, she shook her head and blamed herself. It couldn't be Lin Yi. Why would he confess to her? He was really indulging in fantasies. Guan Xin lost interest once she remembered that the person wasn't Lin Yi. There wasn't any excitement on her face. Who's so bored? Ah! Xin, aren't you moved at all after hearing this explosive news? You don't even want to go out and see who did it? Li Xiaomai asked curiously. No. Guan Xin shook her head. What's there to see? It's probably Kang Mingming, that boring person. Ah, now that you mention it, it's possible. Li Xiaomai lost interest when she heard the name. She didn't have any feelings for Kang Mingming, and she also knew Xiao Fen through Guan Xin. She knew that Xiao Fen was harmed by Kang Mingming, so she didn't have a good impression of Kang Mingming, and now her impression of him was even worse. So, let's get back to work. Guan Xin started to get busy again. After work, Guan Xin and Li Xiaomai walked out of the hospital together. Wang Shubin, who was in charge of investigating at the hospital, saw Guan Xin and immediately sent a signal to Kang Mingming and Zhu Xiaozhong. Chapter 855. The greedy florist Guan Xin thought that Kang Jiaoming would be in a hurry to leave after waiting for so long, but she didn't expect to be startled by the fireworks as soon as she stepped out of the door. Kang Jiaoming's sudden voice startled her. Before Guan Xin could react, Kang Jiaoming started singing. There's a girl in the hospital called Xin. She's pretty and kind. She has a pair of big beautiful eyes, and her braids are thick and long. Kang Mingming played the guitar and sang, giving off the vibe of a passionate prince. It was just that his voice was terrible, like a frog croaking. Not only did it scare Guan Xin, it also made the onlookers frown. Xiaomai, let's go. Ignore him. Guan Xin hadn't been in a situation like this before. She was truly frightened by Kang Mingming. Kang Mingming panicked when he saw that Guan Xin was about to leave. He didn't care about singing anymore and went straight into his confession. Xin, you're the goddess in my heart. You're the electricity, you're the light, you're the legend, I only love you. Where are you guys from? Flammable items aren't allowed in the hospital, and fireworks aren't allowed. Plus, you've already disturbed the patients by shouting with a megaphone. Come with us to the police room for your punishment. Just as Kang Jiaoming was making a fuss, the police in the hospital's duty room received a report and ran over, surrounding Kang Jiaoming in an instant. Ah! Kang Mingming didn't think he'd attract the police. Is it illegal for me to pick up girls? It's not illegal for you to pick up girls, but what you're doing is against the hospital's rules. Come back with us. 2 police officers took Kang Mingming away. Everyone had gathered around to watch the drama, but before Kang Jiaoming could finish his confession, he was taken away by the police. Soon, everyone dispersed. Guan Xin breathed a sigh of relief. This Kang Mingming really was annoying. She didn't know what to do with him. Guan Xin didn't lack suitors in the past, but this was the first time she'd made such a big fuss. Phew! Guan Xin let out a long sigh of relief. She decided that the next time she saw Kang Mingming, she'd have a good talk with him. There was no hope between them, so he shouldn't waste his time. This person is really unlucky. He was arrested by the police on duty in the hospital before he could finish his confession. Li Xiaomai curled her lips, feeling a little funny. Thank God he was taken, or I wouldn't know how to deal with him. Guan Xin shook her head as she quickly followed Li Xiaomai to where the hospital bus was parked. Kang Mingming was in the hospital's police office. He wrote a letter of guarantee, paid a small fine, and was released. After all, he didn't do anything too serious. The police criticized and educated him before letting him go. Kang Mingming didn't listen to a single word. He was secretly worried and quickly maneuvered his wheelchair out of the police office. He saw Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubing waiting at the entrance. Where's Guan Xin? How is she? Kang Mingming asked anxiously. She left a long time ago. Wang Shubing said helplessly, Master Ming, you weren't there, so we couldn't stop Guan Xin from leaving. When she left, what was her expression like? Was she happy? Kang Mingming asked. No, she looked angry. Wang Shubing said carefully. Motherfucker, we made such a big scene for nothing. Kang Mingming said unhappily, How can this hospital be so lenient? The three of them left the hospital together. The sea of flowers in front of the hospital had already been removed, and the guitar and amplifier were nowhere to be seen. However, Kang Jiaoming didn't really care about these things. Right now, he was thinking about how to get Guan Xin. It seemed that his confession was a complete failure. He just didn't know if he was angry because Guan Xin didn't like him, or was he angry because his confession was ruined? The owner of the flower shop in front of the hospital was rich. Kang Mingming was arrested, Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong were also gone. The 10,000 roses in front of the door were now ownerless. The owner of the flower shop quickly called a few workers to collect all the roses and put them in her cellar. The owner picked up a big bargain, but not only was he not satisfied, he was still planning to sell the flowers to Kang Mingming tomorrow. He waited at the hospital entrance and saw Kang Mingming and the other two walk over. He quickly greeted them with a smile. "Three bosses, do you still want to buy flowers? I have some cheap roses here, guaranteed to be cheap. Do you still want them tomorrow?" "What the fuck?" Kang Mingming glared at the flower shop owner. "Still want to buy? Still want to make a fool of himself tomorrow? Boss, didn't you fail today? Don't you want to continue tomorrow?" The owner paused and was a little unwilling. He saw that Yu Xiaoke was earning money, so he was extremely jealous. Now he picked up 10,000 roses and wanted to sell them to Kang Mingming. It would have been better if the owner didn't mention it, but once he mentioned the failed confession, Kang Mingming was furious. He really touched his sore spot. He was so angry that he pointed at the flower shop owner and ordered Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubing, "Beat him up. Motherfucker, don't be so noisy in front of me." As the saying goes, a man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. This owner was such a person. He obviously picked up 10,000 roses, but he still wasn't satisfied. He wanted to sell the 10,000 roses to Kang Mingming. In the end, he was beaten up by Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong. They beat the owner until he lost his temper. Although the owner had some background and knew the boss of this area, Mad Bullbro, he saw that Kang Jiaoming and the other two were driving a Porsche Cayenne. One look and he could tell that they were rich people. He could only cry and beg for mercy. Kang Mingming's war of courtship ended in a farce. Guan Xin wasn't moved at all, making Kang Mingming waste 50,000 yuan. However, Kang Mingming didn't give up. The next afternoon, when it was almost time to get off work, he, Wang Shubing, and Zhu Xiaozhong squatted in front of the First People's Hospital, waiting for Guan Xin to get off work. "Based on the current situation, what should I do?" Kang Jiaoming sighed helplessly. He had accepted the mission his family gave him with full confidence. He thought that he could complete it perfectly, but who would have thought that Guan Xin would be so hard to deal with? Guan Xin wasn't moved no matter what he did. Logically speaking, his family background was similar to Guan Xin's, so they were considered a match. Why wasn't Guan Xin moved? Chapter 856. Guan Xin's father yesterday was a good opportunity. If we continued, Guan Xin might really be moved and give you a chance. But yesterday's plan failed. We can't use the same plan a second time. Even if we use it, it won't have any effect. So I think we should change our strategy. Aren't you talking nonsense? I know that too. Kang Jiaoming wasn't in a good mood. What I want right now is a practical solution, not a theoretical analysis like yours. I don't have much time left. Do you know that? The situation right now is that my family is really pressuring me. If I really can't get the formula this time, my position in the Kang family will plummet. You two idiots won't be able to be as powerful without my support. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong heard Kang Mingming's words and realized that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Indeed, if Kang Mingming wasn't popular in the Kang family, then the two of them wouldn't be able to call the shots like they were now. Thinking of this, Wang Shubing took a deep breath and began to think of a countermeasure. Kang Mingming saw that he was thinking and didn't disturb him. Among them, only Wang Shubing could be considered the brains, so everything depended on him. I got it. Wang Shubing suddenly had an idea. Master Ming, all the signs show that Guan Xin is a good girl. This type of girl listens to her family. So, if we directly propose to the Guan family, there should be some hope. Think about it, You are the grandson of Dr. Kang, and Guanxin is the granddaughter of Miracle Dr. Guan. You two are a strong combination. I think Guan Shuimin wouldn't object, right? Your idea might work, but you have to understand that I'm not looking for Guanxin to marry her. I'm just trying to get Guanxin's recipe from her. If I can have some fun, then I'll do it. It's fine if I can't, but marriage is out of the question, Kang Jiaoming said. How can I get married if I get the recipe out of her? Plus, even if it's a fake marriage, my grandfather has to step in. I can't be stupid enough to ask for Guan Shuimin's hand. Do you think Guan Shuimin will believe him? This. Wang Shubing hesitated. Master Ming, why don't you pay her a visit and tell her that you just want to get to know her better? Although it's not a formal proposal, it's still a hint. I'm sure Shuimin won't reject it too much. Wouldn't it be perfectly justifiable for you to approach Guanxin? That makes sense. Kang Jiaoming nodded. But I'm not familiar with him. I've never met him before. What if he objects to it? I think you're not asking for her hand in marriage, Master Ming. You're just asking to be friends with Guanxin. I don't think Guan Shuimin would reject you out of respect, would he? As long as he doesn't refuse, we can do it. Wang Shubin continued, of course, if Guan Shuimin strongly disagrees, even if you're with Guanxin, he will still find a way to separate you two. He won't easily give the recipe to Guanxin. That's true. The key was the attitude of the Guan family. Then should we pay a visit to Guan Shuimin? Kang Mingming nodded. I'll have to discuss this with my family. We can't go empty-handed, we have to bring some gift. As the three of them were talking, it was time for the hospital to get off work. Guanxin and Li Xiaomai walked out of the hospital. When they were about to reach the entrance, Guanxin said to Li Xiaomai, Xiaomai, you can take the commuter car today. I have other things to do. Oh, you have a date? Li Xiaomai paused. She smiled mischievously at Guanxin. Don't tell me it's with that Kang Mingming. How is that possible? Guanxin glared at her. Even if you beat me to death, I would never go on a date with him. Don't make wild guesses. My dad came to Songshan for business. He's here to pick me up. Haha, I see. Li Xiaomai nodded. Isn't that the legendary major shareholder? Shouldn't the dean come out to greet him? My dad is just passing by. He didn't come to the hospital for an inspection. Why would he notify the dean? Guanxin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. All right, I'll be going first. Guanxin ran towards the Audi A6L parked in front of the hospital. The car was quietly parked not far from the entrance. It didn't enter the hospital, so no one noticed that it was Guan Xiaoxiang's car. Young Master Ming, Guanxin is here. Wang Shubing saw Guanxin and reminded Kang Mingming. Oh, she's not taking the commuter car? Kang Mingming paused. His original plan was to wait for Guanxin to get on the commuter car. Then, the three of them would silently follow behind. Once Guanxin was home, they would pay her a visit. He didn't expect Guanxin to not get on the commuter car. Did she have something else to do today? No. Hey, young Master Ming, she got on the Audi A6L. It's a Songjiang license plate. Zhu Xiaozhong pointed in the direction Guanxin ran to. Songjiang license plate? Could it be that Guanxin went to meet her lover? Kang Mingming's face immediately darkened. The driver of the black Audi A6L was most likely a man. Judging from the light in the car when Guanxin opened the door, the driver should be a man. I don't think so. That man seems to be quite old. Zhu Xiaozhang's eyes were sharp, and he quickly said. Could it be that he's a prostitute? It would have been better if Zhu Xiaozhong didn't mention it. Kang Xiaoming's face darkened. Go and find out who this car belongs to. Ah, I'm so mad. Kang Mingming felt like he was being humiliated. He originally thought that Guanxin didn't accept his confession because she was too pure. She was like a blank sheet of paper. She had never been in a relationship before, so she was subconsciously on guard. But now, it didn't seem to be the case. Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubing didn't have much of a relationship in Songshan. However, in Donghai City, they relied on Kang Mingming to know a lot of people. They made a phone call and got the information of the car from a friend who worked in the insurance business. Young Master Ming, this car belongs to Ming Yang Pharmaceutical Company, Limited. Zhu Xiaozhong told the result to Kang Ming. Ming Yang Pharmaceutical Company, Limited? Why does this name sound so familiar? Kang Ming frowned and muttered the name. Chapter 857. Kang Ming's visit. Yes, that's right. Kang Ming also remembered after Wang Shubing's reminder, so, that man just now could be Guanxin's father? It should be, or else he would be her father's driver. Wang Shubing nodded. Master Ming, I suddenly thought of something. If you visit Guanxin's father, Guan Xiaoxiang, it might be more effective than visiting Guan Xueming. Oh, why do you say that? Kang Ming quickly asked. Master Ming, your Dr. Kang's medical company, doesn't it work with a lot of hospitals? The First People's Hospital and the Second People's Hospital are the same. Isn't that Guanxin's father's company? Zhu Xiaozhong interrupted. If that's the case, then Guan Xiaoxiang won't offend you openly because of his business relationship with the Kang family. As long as he agrees for you to interact with Guanxin, then you'll have achieved your goal. That makes sense. Let's go. Get in the car, we'll follow them and see where they're going. Kang Ming nodded. Guan Xiaoxiang hadn't learned reconnaissance or anti-reconnaissance, so he didn't notice that a Porsche Cayenne was slowly following behind him. He was still chatting with Guanxin. Xin, are you busy with work? Are you tired? It's all right. Sometimes it's a little tiring, but I like this job. Guanxin nodded. If you're tired, then come to Dad's company. You can't be a nurse forever, right? Guan Xiaoxiang smiled. He always wanted Guanxin to come to his company, but Guanxin didn't agree. No, I want to stay here with Grandpa. Guanxin shook her head. Guan Xiaoxiang sighed and didn't bring up the topic again. He changed the topic. How's your health? Not bad. Grandpa's been in a good mood because of the company, Guanxin said. Company? You have to keep an eye on your grandfather for me. He has never done business in his entire life. Don't let him get cheated, or he will lose his reputation. When Guan Xiaoxiang heard about his father starting a company, he was a little displeased. When he first started his business, he wanted to use his father's name as a springboard to achieve some results. Especially that Lin Yi. He's so young, but I don't know what kind of talent he has for your grandfather to praise him so much. However, after he expressed his thoughts, he was sternly rejected by his father. He said that he was afraid that he would be cheated by his friend and that it would affect his reputation. Fortunately, he had the help of a benefactor, so he was able to expand his business. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to marry his girlfriend, Guanxin's mother. Guanxin's mother's family was against it. Therefore, every time he thought about this incident, Guan Xiaoxiang always felt like there was a thorn in his heart. Even though it had been a long time since the incident, there was still some estrangement between the father and son. Even though they cared for each other, they were not very close. No, Lin Yi is a good person. He wouldn't lie to Grandpa. Guanxin subconsciously defended Lin Yi when she heard her father's words. However, as soon as she opened her mouth, she felt that she was a little too impatient and blushed. Looking at his daughter's face, Guan Xiaoxiang suddenly frowned. Could it be that his daughter had fallen for Lin Yi? Guan Xiaoxiang didn't continue on this topic. The car slowly drove into Songshan Medical University. Guan Xiaoxiang parked the car in front of his father's villa. Even though the father and son's relationship wasn't very harmonious, Guan Xiaoxiang would still go home to visit Guan Xuemin every time he came back to work. Guan Xuemin's relationship with his son had been like this for the past few years. Now, he was used to it. When he saw his son return, he nodded and didn't say anything. He went back to his study and continued with his work. On the other hand, Guan Xiaoxiang sat on the sofa in the living room and chatted with Guanxin about the hospital. Kang Ming followed Guan Xiaoxiang's car all the way to the entrance of Guan Xuemin's villa. In order to pursue Guanxin, he bought a fake medical university pass so that he could enter and exit the family area. Master Ming, it looks like that person is Guanxin's father. If he was a driver, he wouldn't be able to enter the villa. Should we go visit him tonight? Wang Shubin asked. Yes, we'll go buy some gifts first, then we'll visit him, Kang Mingming confirmed that the person was Guanxin's father, Guan Xiaoxiang. He was relieved. Kang Zhaoming carried some famous cigarettes and wine as Wang Shubin pushed him to the front of the villa. He rang the doorbell of Guan Shuimin's house. Zhu Xiaozhong was arranged to stay in the car. With his personality, it wasn't appropriate to bring him in. Mother Liu opened the door and saw Kang Mingming in a wheelchair and Wang Shubin pushing him. She was surprised and asked, "Excuse me, are you here to see Professor Guan?" "No, this young master. I'm Kang Zhaoming, the second grandson of Miracle Dr. Kang of Donghai. I'm here to pay a visit to Guan Xiaoxiang." Kang Zhaoming replied. "Oh, wait a moment, I'll ask for you." Mother Liu nodded. She didn't open the iron gate outside but turned around and went back into the living room. "Mother Liu, who's here?" Guan Xiaoxiang saw that Mother Liu didn't bring anyone in and asked curiously. "Mr. Guan, there's someone who claims to be Donghai Dr. Kang's second grandson, Kang Mingming. He wants to visit you, what do you think?" Mother Liu said. "Oh, someone from the Kang family?" Guan Xiaoxiang was surprised and said, "I'll go take a look." Guan Xin's expression changed. She didn't think that Kang Mingming would have the guts to visit. What was he planning? She wanted to tell her father not to go, but her father had already stood up. She stopped herself and thought, let him come in and explain things to him. Guan Xiaoxiang and Mother Liu came to the door and saw Kang Mingming in a wheelchair. He was shocked. He had never seen Kang Mingming before, but he didn't think that Kang Mingming would come in a wheelchair. He couldn't help but ask, "You're Kang Mingming? What happened to you?" "Uncle Guan, hello, I'm Kang Mingming." Kang Mingming saw that Guan Xiaoxiang came to greet him and quickly said, "I was hit by something 2 days ago. It's not a big deal, it's just a normal bone fracture. It'll heal soon." "Oh." Guan Xiaoxiang didn't ask too much. He opened the iron gate and let Kang Mingming and Wang Shubing into the mansion. "Kang Mingming, you don't mind me calling you that, right?" It's fine. "Uncle Guan, you can call me Zhaoming," Kang Mingming said respectfully. He wanted to leave a good impression in front of Guan Xiaoxiang, so he naturally pretended to be a good young man. Guan Xiaoxiang nodded. "Kang Mingming, are you here to visit me? What business do you have with me? Are you here to represent your grandfather, or?" Chapter 858. Guan Xin is engaged. "Okay, please come in." Even though Guan Xiaoxiang didn't know the purpose of Kang Mingming's visit, he was still a member of Donghai's Kang family. They were in the same line of business, and his company had many collaborations with the Kang family. He didn't want to neglect Kang Mingming. After entering the study, Guan Xiaoxiang sat on the sofa. Kang Mingming was in a wheelchair, so Guan Xiaoxiang didn't bother with pleasantries. He looked at Wang Shubin and asked, "This is?" "Uncle Guan, don't worry about him. He's my friend. Just let him stand here." Kang Mingming waved his hand. "Okay, then, why are you here?" Guan Xiaoxiang really didn't know why Kang Mingming was here, and why was he here to visit him. How did he know that he would come to his father's place tonight? Even though he was confused, he didn't show it on his face. He wanted to hear what Kang Mingming had to say. "Uncle Guan, I'm here to visit you because I'm a little embarrassed." Kang Mingming pretended to be simple and honest as he scratched his head. "I'm not here on behalf of my grandfather, nor on behalf of Dr. Kang's medical company. I'm here for myself." "Oh." Guan Xiaoxiang frowned slightly, but he only made a sound of confusion. He didn't ask any more questions. He. "Uncle Guan, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I have my own difficulties." Kang Mingming was a little embarrassed. "A while ago, my leg was broken. When I was in the hospital, it was Miss Guan's meticulous care that allowed me to get out of the hospital so early. Miss Guan's gentleness, beauty, and generosity deeply touched me. As the saying goes, a gentleman seeks a fair lady. I really admire Miss Guan, and I want to be friends with her. I hope Uncle Guan won't object." "A fair lady seeks a fair lady? You mean, you want to be friends with Guan Xin?" Guan Xiaoxiang's frown deepened. Haha, you're right, Uncle Guan, but I'm not saying that I'm going to be friends with Guan Xin right away. I just hope that you can give me a chance. If it doesn't work out, I'll leave quietly." Kang Mingming tried his best to make himself look pitiful. He just wanted a chance. With that, and the partnership between the two families, Guan Xiaoxiang would definitely give him face. After he finished speaking, he was waiting for Guan Xiaoxiang to agree, but he didn't expect to be rejected. I'm sorry, but I can't agree to your request. After Guan Xiaoxiang heard Kang Mingming's words, he rejected his suggestion without hesitation. He didn't give him any face at all. Even though Kang Mingming's words were straightforward, he was polite and honest. It made people think that he didn't have any bad intentions. This was something that he had discussed with Wang Shubin. In front of people like Guan Xiaoxiang, the more smooth he acted, the more he wouldn't be liked. So Kang Mingming pretended to be honest. He didn't expect Guan Xiaoxiang to reject him directly. This made Kang Ming dumbfounded. Kang Mingming couldn't accept it. Why? He said it so well, he just wanted a chance, he didn't want to be with Guanxin. Why? Thinking about this, Kang Mingming was a little angry. But in order to not anger Guan Xiaoxiang, he suppressed his anger and asked, Uncle Guan, why? Guanxin isn't young anymore, right? She's at the age to talk about marriage. And me, did I do something to displease you? Please don't hesitate to mention it. If possible, I will change them all. This has nothing to do with you. Guan Xiaoxiang waved his hand. Logically speaking, you are Elder Kang's grandson, my junior. I should be able to give you this chance, but I can't. Why? Because Xin Xin has been engaged since she was young. It's the kind of arranged marriage. This has nothing to do with whether I'm satisfied with you or not. Guanxin already has a fiancé, how can I let her date you? This is completely unrealistic. Already has a fiancé? Kang Mingming's face turned green. He originally thought that Guan Xiaoxiang had heard of his bad reputation, that's why he rejected him. He didn't think that it was because of this reason. If it was his problem, Kang Mingming had the confidence to solve it. But it was Guanxin's problem, how could he solve it? Guan Xiaoxiang had already told him clearly that Guanxin already had a fiancé. No matter how hard he tried, it would be useless. Guan Xiaoxiang and Guan Xiaoxiang had already excluded him. No matter what he said, he wouldn't be able to change Guan Xiaoxiang's mind. Kang Mingming didn't think that Guan Xiaoxiang was lying to him on purpose. There was no need to lie about this kind of thing. With Guan Xiaoxiang's status, he didn't need to find an excuse to beat around the bush. House Kang wasn't a noble house yet. It was normal for Guan Xiaoxiang to not give him face. So Guan Xiaoxiang's words convinced Kang Mingming, and made him completely give up. She already has a fiancé. No matter what, there was no way Guanxin could be with him. Kang Mingming sighed and said helplessly, if that's the case, then I'll have to bother Uncle Guan. Kang Mingming, you are Elder Kang's grandson. You were born in a medical family. You are also very outstanding. Don't you have to hang yourself for this tree? Xin Xin is already engaged. This can't be changed. I hope you can get over it. Guan Xiaoxiang tried to persuade him. After all, Kang Mingming was Dr. Kang's grandson. Guan Xiaoxiang would still give him some face. Kang Jiaoming listened to Guan Xiaoxiang's comforting words, and believed them even more. However, the evil thoughts in his mind suddenly sprouted, and his eyes lit up. He pretended to be curious. I heard that Guanxin is quite close with someone called Lin Yi. Could he be Guanxin's fiancé? Kang Mingming knew that Lin Yi couldn't be Guanxin's fiancé, but he purposely said it to sow discord. Oh, Lin Yi. Guan Xiaoxiang's face was a little displeased. Lin Yi again. Was there really something between Guanxin and Lin Yi? However, in front of Kang Mingming, Guan Xiaoxiang naturally wouldn't say anything about his daughter. He only said indifferently, you don't have to worry about that. Kang Mingming laughed coldly in his heart. Lin Yi. That's what you get for offending me. If I can't get a girl, don't even think about it. Me. He didn't show it on his face. All right, Uncle Guan. If that's the case, then I'll take my leave. Then I won't be sending you off. Take care. Guan Xiaoxiang knew why Kang Mingming was here, so he didn't want to have anything to do with him. Chapter 859. She had to marry even if she didn't want to. The housekeeper, Nanny Liu, spent most of her time with Guanxin and Guan Shuamin. Even though she was close to Guan Xiaoxiang when he was younger, they were still distant now. She turned a blind eye to Guan Xin's eavesdropping. When Guan Xin heard Kang Mingming tell her father that he wanted to be friends with her, her heart skipped a beat. She was afraid that her father would mistake Kang Mingming for a handsome young man and agree to date her. Fortunately, her father was wise enough to reject Kang Mingming. But her father's reason was so strange. He said that she had a fiancé, and that they were betrothed before they were born. Was there still such a thing as a prenatal betrothal in today's society? Wasn't this too strange? She didn't expect her father, who looked so old-fashioned, to have such a clever and eccentric side. Guan Xin thought it was funny. However, what made her happiest was that Kang Jiaoming actually believed her father's words and decided to give up on pursuing her. What an idiot. In fact, Guan Xin was wrong. In a big family like Kang Mingming, it was natural for the parents to make the decision. Just like the marriage between her brother and the Xiao family's Wang Xinyan, it was decided by the elders. Once it was decided, the younger generation couldn't change it. So Kang Mingming thought that Guan Xin was the same. So no matter what he did, he couldn't change it. He could only give up. When she heard that Kang Jiaoming was coming out, Guan Xin quickly sat on the sofa and pretended to watch TV as if nothing had happened. Kang Jiaoming opened the study room door and was pushed out by Wang Shubin. He looked at Guan Xin, who was sitting on the sofa watching TV, and sighed helplessly. He knew that Guan Xin was a girl from a wealthy family. Since she was already engaged, how could she still be friends with him? So he didn't even bother to say anything. To him, if he couldn't get a girl, it didn't matter how pretty she was. So he asked Wang Shubin to push him out of Guan Shuimin's mansion and left the place with his tail between his legs. Guan Xin, on the other hand, blushed when she saw her father walk out of the study. She had eavesdropped on his conversation with Kang Mingming after all. It wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't something to be proud of. Guan Xin felt a little embarrassed when she saw her father looking at her. She hadn't done anything bad, so she took the initiative to admit what she'd done. "Dad, that Kang Mingming was lying, I didn't nurse him." "Oh, did you hear everything?" Guan Xiaoxiang didn't expect his daughter to eavesdrop. Seeing her blushing face, he nodded in understanding. "This person doesn't look like a good person. Don't come into contact with him in the future." "I know, I don't even talk to him," Guan Xin said. "He's the one who keeps pestering me, Yen, and that Lin Yi, you need to stay away from him in the future. Don't get too close to him. You are a girl, you need to take care of your reputation." Guan Xiaoxiang thought of Lin Yi and added. He had always been biased against Lin Yi. Ever since Lin Yi and Guan Shuimin formed the company, Guan Xiaoxiang hated Lin Yi a little. "Ah, Lin Yi is a good person, he's not a bad person. He's different from Kang Mingming." Guan Xin froze and shook her head. She didn't understand why her father wouldn't let go of Lin Yi. "I told you, you are a girl, you need to watch your image," Guan Xiaoxiang said seriously. "Plus, you have an engagement. If any rumors spread, it won't be good for your reputation." It was the first time Guan Xiaoxiang used such a strict and unquestionable tone to talk to Guan Xin. "Ah." Guan Xin froze and looked at Guan Xiaoxiang suspiciously. "Dad, what engagement are you talking about? Isn't that an excuse to trick Kang Mingming into giving up? How did I get engaged?" "That's not an excuse." Guan Xiaoxiang waved his hand. Xin, you're not young anymore. It's time to tell you about this. Actually, before you were born, your mom and I had arranged a marriage for you. Now that you're all grown up, it's fine to tell you about this." "How can I do that?" Guan Xin didn't know what to do after listening to her father's words. The news was too shocking for her. She never thought that she was already engaged, and now she had a fiancé out of nowhere. Why not? It's always been like this since ancient times. Guan Xiaoxiang didn't think that his usually docile daughter would question him. His brows furrowed even deeper. Could there really be something going on between his daughter and that Lin Yi? "Dad, what era is this? Why do we have to arrange a marriage? I've never even met the person you're talking about, how can I marry him? Plus, it's been so many years, how can it still count? Can you reject it for me?" Guan Xin couldn't believe it. She couldn't accept it. "Reject what?" You can't reject it. Guan Xiaoxiang didn't give her any leeway. You have to marry him in the future. No one can change that. I'm not marrying him. This was the first time that Guan Xin, who had always been a good girl, vehemently refuted her father's suggestion. This was related to her lifelong happiness. How could she compromise? You have to marry him even if you don't want to. Guan Xiaoxiang snorted coldly. He was getting a little angry. I'm in charge of this. Whatever you say is useless. Why should I? I've never met him. I don't even know what he looks like or what he does. Why should I marry him? Guan Xin's eyes widened. I'm not marrying him. I don't even like him. If you don't like him, then who do you like? Guan Xiaoxiang retorted. I just don't like him. Guan Xin almost spilled the beans. She blushed and stopped herself. You like that Lin Yi, don't you? Guan Xiaoxiang, of course, knew what his daughter was thinking. You should cut all ties with him as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll find someone to break his legs. Your mother and I agreed on your marriage. I owe him a lot. My career today was all given to me by his elders. I, Guan Xiaoxiang, am not someone who goes back on his word. It's good if you've thought it through. Even if you don't, you still have to marry him. With that, Guan Xiaoxiang ignored Guan Xin. He stood up and strode out of the villa. Chapter 860. Guan Xueming. But Guan Xin was afraid that her father would do something to hurt Lin Yi in a fit of rage. She didn't know what to do. Lin Yi had nothing to do with this, but he was dragged into this. Guan Xueming heard the argument downstairs and came downstairs to see Guan Xin crying on the sofa. He paused for a moment before asking, Xin, what's wrong? Why are you crying here? Where's your dad? Grandpa. Guan Xin cried even more fiercely when she saw her grandpa. She'd never felt so wronged before. She couldn't understand how her father could interfere with her marriage, forcing her to marry someone she didn't even know. All right, don't cry. Tell Grandpa what happened first. Is there anything you can't solve? Why are you crying so hard? Guan Xueming didn't know what was wrong with Guan Xin. He sat on the sofa and patted his granddaughter's shoulder. Grandpa, my dad said that he'd arranged for me to marry someone I've never met before. Guan Xin told her grandpa what had happened. Nonsense. Guan Xueming slammed the table. This Guan Xiaoxiang is getting more and more unruly. How can he just decide something like this? Don't worry, Xin, Grandpa will help you. Without me, no one will be able to do anything. I'll call your dad right now. Guan Xueming was furious as well. He was an upright man, but he wasn't one to be inflexible. So when he heard that Guan Xiaoxiang was going to arrange for Guan Xin's marriage, he was furious. Plus, his grandson-in-law was Lin Yi, so he couldn't just let Guan Xiaoxiang marry Guan Xin off. You little bastard, what did you say to Xin? You made my precious granddaughter cry? What's wrong with you, kid? Arranged marriage? I'm telling you, you'd better cancel this engagement as soon as possible. Don't even think about it. Guan Xueming dialed the number and started scolding him. Guan Xiaoxiang froze. His dad hadn't yelled at him like this ever since they'd gotten into a conflict over him starting a company. This made him feel like he had done something wrong when he was young and was scolded by his father. He didn't dare to disobey his father, however, he really couldn't make the decision for the matter that his father mentioned. This was the marriage agreement that he and his wife had made with that nobleman. How could he unilaterally renege on it? Thinking about how much that person had done for him in the past, how great of a favor was that person? If it weren't for his investment and connections, how could he have achieved the results he had today? Can I get the approval of my future father-in-law? He was not an ungrateful person, so for a moment, Guan Xiaoxiang was in a dilemma. Guan Xiaoxiang had been in a cold war with his father for so many years, and he knew that the fact that his father was angry at him for Guan Xin's sake meant that their relationship had improved. If he compromised, then the relationship between father and son would definitely become better. However, could he compromise? It was impossible for him to break his promise with that person. Unless that person broke the contract, Guan Xiaoxiang would never do such an ungrateful thing. Thinking of this, Guan Xiaoxiang could only smile bitterly. He couldn't be loyal and righteous at the same time. What could he do? He didn't want to use this opportunity to ease his relationship with his father to anger him again, but he also couldn't break the marriage agreement. Dad, I can listen to you on other things, but this, I really can't change it. This was an agreement I made with that nobleman, and you know him. Guan Xiaoxiang sighed. How can I break the marriage agreement? But have you ever thought about Xin's happiness? If that's the case, then when that person comes, let him come to me. Just say that I broke the marriage agreement. Guan Shuamin was so angry that he laughed. He helped you before, and I even helped his wife cure her leg. If he doesn't want to, then he can come to me. If you let Xin get married again, then I'll make sure that she and you are no longer father and son. I'll make her have a cold war with you, just like how you and I did back then. With that, Guan Shuamin hung up the phone with a pa sound, ignoring Guan Xiaoxiang's words. Holding the phone, Guan Xiaoxiang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't know what to say. His father actually used what he did back then to threaten him. However, at least his father took over the matter, and promised that if there were any problems, he would let that nobleman go to him. This lessened the pressure on Guan Xiaoxiang, but he still didn't want to go back on his word. Regarding this matter, it seemed that he could only slowly convince his father. Now that his father was in a fit of anger, if he called him again to talk about this matter, it would undoubtedly make the already tense relationship between father and son even more tense. This was not what Guan Xiaoxiang wanted to see. Guan Shuamin hung up the phone. On the other side, Guan Xin was also smiling through her tears. Seeing how her grandfather stood up for her, Guan Xin felt that her father would definitely compromise. Yes, if it really didn't work, then she would be like her grandfather, like her father did when he was young, and have a cold war with him. Let's see what he could do to her. If she didn't marry, even if he beat her to death, it would be useless. Xin, are you happy now? Grandpa is on your side. Don't worry, as long as Grandpa doesn't agree, no one can marry you off. Guan Shuamin could still make this decision. Thank you, Grandpa. Guan Xin smiled happily. What are you thanking me for? Okay, go wash your face. Auntie Liu is about to make dinner, let's go eat something. Guan Shuamin smiled and nodded. Guan Xin happily ran to wash her face. She didn't know that her father still hadn't given up on this matter. Kang Mingming came out of Guan Xin's house and got into the car with a bitter face. Zhu Xiaozhong, who was staying in the car, saw Kang Mingming come out with a bitter face. He was confused. Master Ming, what's wrong? What's wrong? Guan Xin's father doesn't approve of you two dating? Ah, don't mention it. It's a long story. Kang Mingming felt that his time and money were all wasted. The worst part was that he broke his leg and gave Xiaofan hundreds of thousands for nothing. What a big loss. Let me say it. Wang Shubin looked at Zhu Xiaozhong and explained, Guan Xin is already engaged to a husband. It was a marriage agreement made when she was young. This can't be changed, so Guan Xiaoxiang definitely won't let Master Ming and Guan Xin see each other. With the marriage agreement, Guan Xin can't be friends with Master Ming. For the sake of her future reputation, she can't do anything that will damage her reputation. So Guan Xiaoxiang has no chance with Guan Xin. Chapter 861. Meeting at the school gate. Of course it's all wasted. Kang Mingming waved his hand in annoyance. It's fine if it's wasted, but the problem is, I can't get Guan Xin, and I can't get the formula. My family is really pressuring me, and my plan has failed. Kang Mingming was very worried that his position in the Kang family would be lost. Even if he told his family the truth, they might not blame him. After all, it wasn't that he didn't work hard, it was that he couldn't achieve it no matter how hard he tried. Guan Xin was already engaged to someone else. Even if Kang Mingming was the reincarnation of Panan, she wouldn't be able to break the engagement and get together with him, right? But what Kang Mingming was afraid of was that even though he wasn't the one responsible for this, he was still responsible for the fact that he didn't investigate thoroughly. If he had found out that Guan Xin was engaged, then he wouldn't need to spend so much effort to pursue her. Wasn't this a waste of time? As Kang Mingming's underling, Wang Shubin was also very worried. They were bound together for good or for ill. He understood that without the skin, where would the hair attach? If Kang Mingming's position in the Kang family was gone, and his prestige was gone, how could his two underlings have a good life? So it was Wang Shubin's job to solve Kang Mingming's problems. When he heard Guan Xiaoxiang reject Kang Mingming, he started to think about the next step. Master Ming, since this path is not working, then we won't go. Won't go? How am I going to explain this to my family? I said that I could definitely get Guan Xin, Kang Mingming said angrily, but who knew she was engaged? I can't explain this to my family. Doesn't that make me look useless? Of course not. Wang Shubin waved his hand. Master Ming, if you look at it from another angle, then it'll be much easier. Actually, pursuing Guanxin wasn't your main goal. Your main goal was to get the formula. If you hadn't pursued Guanxin and gotten the formula, wouldn't you have completed your mission as well? I think Dr. Kang cares about the prescription, not Guanxin. That's right. But, if I don't get Guanxin, where am I going to get the prescription? Kang Mingming thought that Wang Shubing's words made sense, but he couldn't figure it out. There are many ways to get the recipe. Steal, rob, threaten, etc. We don't have to start with Guanxin. We can still get it from other people in Miracle Dr. Guan's company. Wang Shubing said, I heard that your brother, Kang Xiaobo, is also the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Yeah, I get angry when I talk about this. Kang Xiaobo actually became a vice president. He's even more powerful than me. I'm so mad. He's just a relative of the Kang family, but he's doing better than me. Kang Mingming thought of Kang Xiaobo and felt angry. The news of Kang Xiaobo becoming the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company wasn't a secret. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company had already announced it to the media. Master Ming, as the saying goes, when there's a war, blood brothers go to war. Wang Shubin said, think about it. You and Kang Xiaobo are cousins. Although he's the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, I don't think he's earning much money, right? I think you can go find Kang Xiaobo. After all, he's a member of the Kang family. You can reason with him, move his emotions, and promise him a lot of money. It shouldn't be hard to get the prescription from him. Kang Xiaobo knows the prescription of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? That's impossible. Although he's the vice president, this prescription should only be known by Guan Xuemin and Fatty Lai, right? Kang Mingming wasn't stupid. He shook his head and said, Master Ming, your priority right now isn't to find the prescription of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. That can wait. Did you forget about the new mission that Kang Jiaolong gave you? He wants you to get the prescription of Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine and the source of the raw materials. Wang Shubin said, as long as you find these two things, it'll be a great achievement. As for the prescription of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, we'll think about it slowly. Oh, that's true. The injury medicine isn't that important. Kang Xiaobo should know the prescription and the source of the raw materials. Kang Mingming nodded and said, if that's the case, there's a way. Tomorrow, I'll go find Kang Xiaobo and have a good talk with him. I'll get the prescription and the source of the raw materials from him. Master Ming, you have to remember two things. One is to play the family card. You have to let Kang Xiaobo know that the rise and fall of House Kang is the responsibility of every member of House Kang. You can give him some benefits. For example, after you take control of House Kang, give him some shares of Dr. Kang's medical company. Anyway, this is all nonsense. You don't know when you'll be able to take control of House Kang, Wang Shubin said. Other than that, you have to give him some benefits that he can see right now. Didn't you give Xiaofan a sum of money before? You can say that you did it because of Kang Mingming. This time, you have to give Kang Mingming some more money. Otherwise, he won't cooperate if he can't see the benefits. Yes, what you said makes sense. Kang Mingming nodded, I got it. Shubin, you really are the brains. I thought there was no other way and I was going to go home with my tail between my legs. I didn't expect you to have so many ideas. Hee, it's my responsibility to come up with ideas for Master Ming. Wang Shubin smiled proudly. The next afternoon, Kang Mingming carried a black leather suitcase with 300,000 yuan and went to visit Kang Xiaobo. Kang Xiaobo would go to Dr. Kang's medical company every afternoon. He had already told his homeroom teacher, Teacher Liu. Seeing that Kang Xiaobo had such a good future, Teacher Liu naturally wouldn't stop him. What was the purpose of going to university? Wasn't it to learn some skills and get a diploma to find a good job? Now that Kang Xiaobo had passed this step and found a good job, the homeroom teacher, Teacher Liu naturally wouldn't say anything. Kang Mingming already knew Kang Xiaobo's daily schedule. When Kang Xiaobo left school at noon, Kang Mingming stuck his head out of the Porsche Cayenne's rear window. Bro. Here. At first, Kang Xiaobo didn't think the voice was calling him. Although it was familiar, who would come to his school and call him bro? So he didn't pay attention. However, the voice called again, Xiaobo, here. Chapter 862. The omnipresent Lin Yi Kang Mingming. What's the matter? But even so, Kang Xiaobo wasn't afraid of Kang Mingming. The two of them had already fallen out on the day of the banquet. There was nothing to worry about anymore. Kang Xiaobo called Kang Mingming by his name. Hey, little brother, why are you still so distant from me, your cousin? You still call me Kang Mingming, you should call me second cousin, Kang Mingming said with a smile. Huh. Kang Xiaobo was stunned after hearing Kang Mingming's words. What did Kang Mingming mean? Did he get kicked in the head by a donkey? Bro, what are you waiting for? Get in the car. We haven't seen each other in a long time, right? Kang Mingming waved at Kang Xiaobo. He purposely let Xu Xiaozhong drive, Wang Shubin sat in the front passenger seat, and left a seat for Kang Xiaobo in the back. Kang Mingming, what do you want? Kang Xiaobo frowned. Long time no see. Didn't I see you giving money to Xiaofan a few days ago? Xiaobo, you're still wary of your cousin. Haha, I came here today to apologize to you. I was young and didn't know any better. I did some things that angered even the gods. I hope you can forgive me. Kang Mingming said it in a nice way so that Kang Xiaobo could get close to him. At that moment, Lin Yi and Tang Yun walked out of the school holding hands. They saw Kang Xiaobo talking to Kang Mingming with a wary face. They felt it was strange and asked, Xiaobo, what are you doing? Boss. Kang Xiaobo was overjoyed when he saw Lin Yi. He didn't know what Kang Mingming was trying to do. He didn't want to talk to Kang Mingming. First, how did Kang Mingming treat Kang Xiaobo? How could Kang Xiaobo not hate him? Second, he used to play with Kang Xiaobo's girlfriend, Xiaofan, and hurt her. Kang Xiaobo not scolding him was already giving Kang Mingming face. Kang Mingming naturally didn't know that Lin Yi was the manager of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Until now, House Kang still thought that Xu Amin was the manager of the company. As for Lin Yi, he was just a bystander. As for Kang Xiaobo being able to enter Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, Kang Ming didn't think it was because of Lin Yi. From his point of view, Kang Xiaobo must have given Xu Amin the Golden Creation Medicines formula in exchange for the position of vice president. In reality, Lin Yi always gave the same impression to his enemies. He was harmless, as if he was everywhere, but no one knew of his existence. So Kang Mingming didn't put Lin Yi in his eyes. He didn't care about what he said or did. He still urged, Xiaobo, get in the car. You haven't eaten yet, right? Let's find a place to eat. Boss, this. Kang Xiaobo was someone who listened to Lin Yi. He always followed Lin Yi's lead. If Lin Yi didn't come, he definitely wouldn't continue talking to Kang Mingming. He would have turned around and left. But now that Lin Yi was here, he needed Lin Yi to make the decision. Heh. Since Kang Mingming is treating, there's no harm in going. Let's go and have a look, Lin Yi shrugged. He wanted to see what this Kang Mingming would come up with. Boss, will you come with me? Kang Xiaobo hesitated and asked. Ask your cousin if he agrees. Lin Yi asked with a smile. Kang Xiaobo and Lin Yi didn't deliberately avoid Kang Mingming when they talked, so Kang Mingming heard everything they said. Kang Mingming was anxious to find Kang Xiaobo to get the prescription. Seeing that Kang Xiaobo was very obedient to Lin Yi, he planned to invite Lin Yi along. Last time when Xiaofan took his money, Lin Yi was also present. So Kang Mingming felt that Lin Yi wasn't a righteous person. At the very least, he was greedy. So he didn't need to hide this matter from Lin Yi. As long as there were benefits, Lin Yi would let Kang Xiaobo take it. So before Kang Xiaobo asked, Kang Ming said first, Lin Yi, right? We're friends, and we've met a few times. Let's have a meal together. Kang Mingming didn't pursue Guan Xin anymore, so his hatred for Lin Yi had faded a lot. Especially after Guan Xiaoxiang silently tricked Lin Yi last night, it let Kang Mingming breathe a sigh of relief. Now that the two of them didn't have any conflicts of interest, Kang Mingming didn't mind having Lin Yi with them. You guys go, I won't be going. Tang Yun knew that Lin Yi had something to do, so she let go of Lin Yi's hand and said to Lin Yi, It's okay, let's go together. Lin Yi looked at Kang Mingming and said, Let one of your people get down and follow us in a taxi. I have 3 people, your car won't be able to fit. Kang Mingming was so angry that his teeth itched. Wasn't this bullying? I'm treating you guys to a meal, and you want to let my people get down? However, he wanted to please Kang Xiaobo and get the prescription and raw materials from him. He couldn't afford to offend Lin Yi. Thus, Kang Xiaoming's expression changed again and again. He said to Wang Shubin in annoyance, Shubin, help me sit in the front passenger seat. Then, you sit in the taxi and follow us. Kang Mingming sat in the front passenger seat, Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Kang Xiaobo sat in the back seat of the Porsche Cayenne. Kang Mingming told Zhu Xiaozhong to find a high-class hotel, then they went into a private room. Kang Xiaobo had Lin Yi by his side, so he wasn't afraid of Kang Mingming. Since he was already here, he didn't care about Kang Mingming. However, Kang Mingming was here to please Kang Xiaobo, so he didn't mind. Xiaobo, I heard that you are the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Kang Jiaoming asked casually after Xiaobo had ordered a couple more dishes before sending the waiter away. What's your order? Yes, Kang Xiaobo didn't know what Kang Mingming meant, so he answered with one sentence. Lin Yi and Tang Yun stood at the side, as if it had nothing to do with them. Lin Yi snatched the teapot that Kang Mingming was about to take and poured a cup of water for Tang Yun. Do you want some water? Tang Yun was a little nervous at first. She didn't like Kang Mingming. Whenever she saw him, she would think of the miserable Xiao Fen, but now that Lin Yi was by her side, she felt more at ease. Tang Yun held the cup and sipped the tea. Suddenly, she realized that Lin Yi was staring at her, and her face blushed. Chapter 863. Chapter 862, Strange meal. There were no enemies or small fries, and it made Lin Yi feel that his days were very leisurely. Lin Yi didn't know if this was a good thing. Was it really peaceful, and everything was over, or was it just the calm before the storm? From the looks of it, the latter was more likely. Yu Kuan was crippled by him, and it was impossible for House Yu to not do anything. Perhaps, they were planning something. As for the others, didn't Kang Mingming come knocking on his door? Lin Yi never believed that a bad person could become a good person without any signs. There was no turning point. Could it be that he had an epiphany? Kang Mingming was like that. His attitude changed for the better, and it made Lin Yi feel that he must have some ulterior motives. So, Lin Yi didn't put him in his eyes. He did whatever he wanted during the meal, and it made Kang Mingming speechless. Kang Mingming, who didn't manage to get the tea, could only retract his hand. His legs weren't working, and he couldn't stand up. Lin Yi put the teapot far away, and he couldn't reach it. Xiaobo, you are a member of House Kang, and we are a medical family. If you want to be a vice chairman, you should come to our Dr. Kang Medical Company. Why would you go to an outsider's company? Wouldn't it be a loss of face for House Kang? Kang Jiaoming coughed twice and continued. Oh, House Kang. Kang Xiaobo smiled coldly. What do I have to do with House Kang? Other than my surname, when did you think of me? Why, are you here to arrange a vice chairman position for me in Dr. Kang Medical Company? This. Haha, not to mention a vice chairman, even a shareholder is not a problem. Kang Mingming laughed. Isn't Grandpa in power now? When I'm in power, I'll definitely give you a share of Dr. Kang's shares and let you become a shareholder of Dr. Kang's medical company. No matter what, you are a member of the Kang family. How could they mistreat you? Oh, I'll have to thank you then. You invited me here just for this. Xiaobo didn't believe that Kang Jiaoming would call him over just for this kind of bullshit. Give me shares. He didn't believe that Kang Mingming would give him any shares, unless the sun rose from the west. Let's eat first. Kang Mingming laughed, then pretended as if nothing had happened. He said to Zhu Xiaozhong, "Go take a look. Why aren't the dishes being served yet?" As they were talking, the waiter knocked on the door and came in with the dishes. Soon, the dishes were placed on the table. The speed here was quite good. Lin Yi didn't care about Kang Mingming, Zhu Xiaozhong, and Wang Shubing at all. He started eating when the dishes were served. He even put food in Tang Yun's bowl from time to time. Lin Yi didn't care about anything, but Tang Yun was a bit embarrassed. After all, she was a girl. She didn't have a good relationship with these people, so she was a bit shy. Zhao Ming frowned as he watched Lin Yi gobble down the food without a care in the world. He wasn't happy, but he couldn't say it aloud. He was hoping that Lin Yi would be able to talk Xiaobo out of it, so he held it in for now. "Xiaobo, I heard that the main product of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company is also a golden creation. Is it similar to our Dr. Kang's golden creation?" Kang Mingming pretended as if nothing had happened and asked casually. "Yes, Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine." Kang Xiaobo didn't know what Kang Mingming wanted to do, so he didn't say much. He answered whatever he asked. It wasn't a secret anyway, so there was no need to hide it. "Oh, in terms of effect, it is similar to Dr. Kang's golden creation?" Kang Mingming continued to ask. "It should be," Kang Xiaobo said. "Hehe, if that's the case, I wonder where Miracle Dr. Guan's medicine company got their prescription from." "Ha, do you know?" Kang Zhaoming finally revealed his purpose step by step. Kang Xiaobo wasn't stupid. After hearing Kang Mingming's words, he was a little angry. Kang Mingming was obviously hinting that Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine came from Kang Xiaobo. In an instant, Kang Xiaobo understood. Kang Ming's purpose of inviting him to dinner was probably to find out if he was the one who gave out Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. But not only him, even his grandfather hadn't seen the injury medicine. How could he give it to someone else? "So," Kang Xiaobo said coldly, "how would I know?" "Haha, if you don't know then you don't know. Don't be angry." Kang Mingming saw that Kang Xiaobo was angry and quickly tried to calm him down. "Why should I be angry?" Kang Xiaobo said indifferently. He looked at Lin Yi to see what he had to say. But when he saw that Lin Yi was still eating happily, Kang Xiaobo felt relieved. "Forget it, Xiaobo. Since we are all from the Kang family, let's not beat around the bush. Brother, can you get me a Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine?" Kang Mingming saw that Kang Xiaobo wasn't cooperating. His sweet words didn't have any effect on him. He was anxious and decided to say his purpose directly. "Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine? What do you want it for?" Kang Xiaobo was stunned. "Don't you have Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine?" "Haha, just for reference. The more the better." Kang Mingming smiled. "How about it? As the vice president of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company, you should be able to get this medicine, right? Of course, although we are all from the Kang family, as the saying goes, blood brothers should be fair. I won't let you do it for free. Shubin." At this time, Wang Shubing took out a black leather suitcase and placed it on the table. Then, he opened it. It was a suitcase full of cash. It was dazzling. The reason why Kang Mingming didn't use a card but cash was because the visual impact of cash was far greater than a bank card. He wanted Kang Xiaobo to accept this suitcase of cash under the impulse of desire. "What do you mean?" Kang Xiaobo frowned. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted by a suitcase of cash in front of him. But Kang Xiaobo was a man of principle. He wouldn't betray the company for a suitcase of cash. Not to mention, Lin Yi was sitting next to him. Even if Lin Yi wasn't here, he wouldn't accept the money. So he thought that Kang Mingming used the wrong method. Chapter 864. Another scam. Kang Xiaobo was about to refuse, but Lin Yi spoke first. 300,000, Xiaobo, take it. Since it's your cousin's goodwill, there's no reason for you to refuse. Lin Yi stood up and took the money box in front of Kang Mingming. Kang Mingming was overjoyed. This Lin Yi wasn't that annoying after all. He didn't come here to eat and drink for free. He was very useful at the crucial moment. He's greedy, but that's good. I like greedy people. With Lin Yi by Kang Xiaobo's side, things will be much smoother. Yeah, The Lin brothers are right. There's no reason to refuse such a large sum of money. Kang Ming agreed with a smile. He didn't say the last part of the sentence, which was that he was taking someone's money to get rid of a disaster for them. Kang Xiaobo was stunned by Lin Yi's action. Why was Lin Yi asking him to take the money? Wasn't that the same as giving the prescription to Kang Ming? He looked at Lin Yi with uncertainty. He wanted to ask what was going on, but he was afraid that Lin Yi's plan would be ruined by him. Xiaobo, isn't it just a prescription? As the vice president of the company, you should have access to these core secrets. Why don't you just give the prescription to your cousin? Lin Yi gave Kang Xiaobo a look and continued, as for the source of the raw materials, I'm afraid it's not that easy to find out. But try your best. Yeah. Let's get the prescription first. Kang Ming didn't insist. As long as he got something first, he would have the evidence of Kang Xiaobo accepting bribes. Then, he could get any information he wanted. The prescription, of course. Lin Yi patted his chest and promised, right, Xiaobo? This, yes. Kang Xiaobo saw that Lin Yi had already agreed. How could he refuse? Although he didn't know what Lin Yi wanted, he could only cooperate with Lin Yi. Kang Ming didn't expect to achieve his goal so easily. He was elated. During dinner, he didn't talk much with Kang Xiaobo. He agreed that if Kang Xiaobo succeeded, he would call him directly. Kang Ming and the others left the restaurant. Kang Xiaobo, who was carrying a box of money, was still confused. Boss, what's the meaning of this? They want the prescription. Do we give it to them? Of course we have to. Otherwise, they would have wasted 300,000, Lin Yi smiled, but you don't have to steal it. I'll write one for you. As he spoke, Lin Yi took out the flyer he got from the restaurant and wrote a prescription for Kang Xiaobo in the blank space. I'll give it to you. Just call Kang Ming when the time comes. This is the real prescription. Kang Xiaobo was in disbelief. He knew a little about Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine. He heard that the prescription was different from Dr. Kang's. Not only did it lower the cost, but it was also more effective than Dr. Kang's. Lin Yi gave the prescription to Kang Ming. Didn't that mean he was giving away the benefits to others? Of course it's the real prescription. Lin Yi nodded, but he smiled. But this prescription is Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine. Didn't he suspect that you know their prescription? That's perfect. We'll just use this prescription to fool them. Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine prescription? Boss, how do you have it? Kang Xiaobo was shocked. I've seen Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine before. It should be this old prescription, but a lot of the ingredients are expensive. The cost is too high, so I changed some of them. Not only did I save on the cost, but the effect was also stronger. Lin Yi shrugged. Now we're just returning the old prescription to them. They already have a prescription for 300,000. Isn't that worth it? That's a good deal. Kang Xiaobo finally understood Lin Yi's intention. Boss, you're the best. You just casually scammed another 300,000 from Kang Ming. That's so satisfying. Kang Xiaobo hated Kang Ming. It wasn't just a day. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, he wouldn't have sat at the same table with Kang Ming. He had been wondering why Lin Yi did this. Now he knew that Kang Ming was scammed by Lin Yi again. I wasn't planning on screwing him over, I just wanted to see what he was up to. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. But since he's giving us 300,000, there's no reason for us to reject it. That's true. I was scared to death. I thought he sold the prescription for 300,000. My heart almost exploded. Kang Xiaobo let out a sigh of relief. Boss, I'll give you the money. I'm going to the slums to pick up Xiaofan and bring her to the company. Recently, Kang Xiaobo went to the company to learn from Fatty Lai and Fatty Lai's friends. Although Kang Xiaobo had learned a lot of theoretical knowledge, it was just an armchair strategist without any practical application. So, Kang Xiaobo treasured this internship opportunity. Xiaofan was the same, but her legs weren't very convenient. So, she naturally walked with Kang Xiaobo every day. Xiaofan's house was demolished. Her mother rented a house near the new house. Once the house was renovated, she could move in. Take this money. Get a driver's license and buy a car. Otherwise, it'll be inconvenient for you to take care of Xiaofan every day. Use the rest of the money to buy some home appliances for Xiaofan. 300,000 was nothing to Lin Yi. Naturally, he wouldn't carry a suitcase of money back to school. How can I do that? Kang Xiaobo was shocked. He never thought that the money would be given to him. Although Lin Yi worked under him, Kang Xiaobo knew his own limits. He didn't think about the money. So, when he left, he proposed to return the money to Lin Yi. He just didn't expect Lin Yi to give the money to him. There's nothing wrong with it. Just take it. Lin Yi patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder and waved his hand. Lin Yi was a person who could distinguish between kindness and hatred. He was good to his friends and bad to his enemies. Even if his enemies didn't provoke him, Lin Yi would beat them up whenever he had the chance. For example, just now, Kang Mingming lost 300,000 for no reason. Although Kang Xiaobo didn't help Lin Yi much, Lin Yi didn't care. When Zhong Pingliang came to his door, Kang Xiaobo's sacrifice was enough to make Lin Yi look at him in a different light. Friendship wasn't about taking things from each other. So, Lin Yi wouldn't ignore Kang Xiaobo just because he couldn't help him. Chapter 865. Cured, Sikagenjin Dajo spent money like water these days. He spent more than 10 million to treat Shen Yingjun at Yaowang's place. Although his crooked mouth, lame feet, and the diseases that were transferred to his hands and ears were also cured, Zheningjuan's body had other diseases. Impotence. After Zheningjuan's hands and ears were healed, Zhen Dajo brought him to a massage center to celebrate his recovery. He wanted to wash away his bad luck, but during the massage, he ordered a prostitute out of interest. Sadly, he became a living eunuch. After taking a few Viagra, it didn't work. Zhen Yingjun panicked and couldn't care less. He stumbled to the door of his father's room next door. Zhen Yingjun called a prostitute. How could Zhen Dajo just wait there like an idiot? He naturally ordered a prostitute as well. After entering the room, he was having fun when he suddenly heard a knock on the door. He jumped in fright and almost had a heart attack. This massage center was managed by Zihua and he was the one who introduced them to this place. It was said to be very safe and he didn't expect to be disturbed. Zhen Dajo put on a bathrobe and opened the door while cursing. "Who is it?" "Dad, it's me, I'm Yingjun." Zhen Yingjun knocked on the door anxiously. Zhen Dajo was a little nervous when he thought it was the police or his enemies, but when he heard it was his son, Zhen Yingjun, he was enraged. "You little bastard, I can't get up now. Knock my kidney, what's wrong?" "Huh." Zhen Yingjun froze and said in fear, "Dad, you can't get it up too?" "No way. It's all because you scared me." Zhen Dajo frowned and suddenly froze. "What? You can't get it up too?" "Yeah, Dad, I can't get it up. What should I do?" Zheningjuan's voice sounded like he was about to cry. "I've taken 3 Viagra but it's useless, it suddenly doesn't work." Zhen Dajo jumped in fright and immediately lost the desire to play with Miss. His lust also dissipated. He quickly opened the door and let Shen Yingjun in. He asked anxiously, "Really? What is going on?" "I know, but there's no reaction." Zhen Yingjun cried as if his father had just died. "Dad, am I crippled now?" Zhen Dajo only had one son and he was counting on him to carry on the family line. Hearing Zheningjuan's words, a huge blister appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Don't worry, are you sure you have no reaction?" "Yeah, I'm sure." Zhen Yingjun nodded. "Look, I'm like this right now." Zhen Yingjun didn't care that there was a prostitute in the room. He took off his bathrobe and showed it to Zhen Dajo. Zhen Dajo was a little anxious. He pointed at the lady in the room and said, "Get out first. This is your money. Don't say anything about this." As he spoke, Zhen Dajo gave the lady a bunch of money and sent her away. The lady knew that something big happened to Zhen Yingjun and his son and didn't dare to say anything. She took the money and quickly nodded before leaving the room. "Yingjun, when did this start? Were there any signs before?" Zhen Dajo asked carefully. "No, Dad, you know that I've been sick for a while. I didn't touch any women, but when I came here today, I realized something was wrong." Zhen Yingjun said, "It was still working before. Before we came to Songshan, I went to look for my little lover. So it happened after you got sick?" Could there be any side effects? Jean Darjo could only think of this possibility. It's possible. Dad, let's go look for Zhao Yarawang. He's amazing at bringing people back to life. He must have a solution. Jin Yingjun listened to his father's analysis and thought that it was possible. Other than Sequela, there was no other possibility. The two of them thought about it and quickly put on their clothes. They left the medical center and rushed to the floating cloud bar. In the floating cloud bar, Zhao Qibing looked at the money on the deposit receipt and was overjoyed. Wahahaha, I'm such a genius. I thought of such a genius idea. I didn't think that Zhen Yingjun, that idiot, would give me 10 million in just a few days. It's so easy to earn money. Of course. Zihua flattered. Master Bing's idea to earn money is the best. Of course, Yawang's contribution is also a big part of it. I just helped. If it wasn't for Master Bing's idea to change the patient's condition again and again, I wouldn't be able to collect so much money from a patient no matter how good I am. Yarawang said humbly. Ian, not bad. Yarawang, don't be so humble. You're the one who made the money this time. I'll tell my father. Zhao Qibing didn't want to take all the credit for himself. He was a person who was good at winning people's hearts and knew how to make people follow him wholeheartedly. Just like Zhong Fabai and the others, they were all loyal to him now. Zhao Qibing only needed to show them some kindness in exchange for a group of loyal subordinates. Why wouldn't he do it? He understood that even if Yarawang was the main contributor, House Zhao would know that he was the mastermind behind all of this. Yarawang wouldn't take the credit away from him, the mastermind, no matter what. Thank you, Master Bing, Yarawang said gratefully. Yarawang started learning medicine at the age of 3 and started to roam the world at the age of 15. Back then, he also played the trick of treating patients worse and worse. However, because he offended a rich family, he was caught and almost beaten to death. If it wasn't for the head of House Zhao, Zhao Guangyin, who saved him, there wouldn't be Yarawang today. So, Yarawang was very grateful to House Zhao. He felt that his life was given to him by House Zhao. No matter what House Zhao asked him to do, it was only natural. Master Bing was Zhao Guangyin's son, so naturally, he would support him with all his heart. He didn't ask for anything in return. He stayed in House Zhao with the intention to repay their kindness. Now that Zhao Qibing was going to teach him Qinggong, how could he not be touched? Although he didn't care about anything, he still hoped that House Zhao would value him. But, this father and son from House Zhen are rich. 10 million, TSK, it's still a little too little. We haven't squeezed them to the limit yet. If we could squeeze more money out of them, that would be even better, Zhao Qibing said regretfully. Chapter 866. Framing Lin Yi-O? Really? But wouldn't he suspect something if we do that? Zhao Qibing wasn't stupid. Although he was greedy, he didn't want to ruin his reputation. We want long-term benefits, not Sheningjuan's money. It'll be bad if they suspect that we did it. They won't, I did it discreetly. They don't have the intelligence to find out. Yarawang waved his hand confidently. Besides, even if they go to the hospital, they won't be able to find anything. That's good, as long as we aren't involved, Zhao Qibing nodded in satisfaction. Of course not. Not only will they not implicate us, but they will also give us more money soon. Yarawang sneered. Master Bing, watch me. All right, I'll wait for that idiot Zhen Yingjun to give me money. Zhao Qibing nodded happily. Yarawang was right. Not long after, Su Jiaonong ran in. Master Bing, Zhen Yingjun and his son are here again. They want to see Yarawang. Let them in. Zhao Qibing couldn't wait anymore. The more he tasted money, the more he couldn't stop. Su Jiaonong quickly brought Zhen Dazhou and Zhen Yingjun into the back room. As soon as they entered, Zhen Dazhou raged. Yarawang, what kind of illness did you treat? Why is it getting worse? Why did you treat something that wasn't sick before? Although Zhen Dazhou was a boorish man, he was meticulous. He knew that it wasn't reliable to blame Zheningjuan's illness on the sequelae, but in order to let Yarawang treat his son and spend less money, he had no choice but to complain first. Zhen Dazhou, watch your words. Is this a place for you to be arrogant? Even if this is your territory, you better behave yourself in front of me. Zhao Qibing frowned unhappily, but his heart was beating like a drum. Did Zhen Dazhou and Zhen Yingjun find out something? Zhen Dazhou's face froze. Indeed, he was only thinking about Yarawang and forgot that this was Zhao Qibing's territory. He didn't dare offend Zhao Qibing. It wouldn't be hard for the power behind Zhao Qibing to kill him. So, Dazhou's face turned into a smile. Master Bing, don't be angry, if you have something to say, then say it nicely. Don't think that just because you spent money to see the king pharmacist, you are a god. In my place, customers are not gods. Zhao Qibing curled his lips. Seeing that Dazhou didn't dare to act rashly, he calmed down and sneered, "We don't accept normal people who want to see Yarawang." Of course. Dazhou didn't dare to say anything after seeing Zhao Qibing's attitude. He said with a bitter face, "Master Bing, Yarawang, please take a look at my son. Didn't I cure Zheningjuan's illness? What else are you looking at?" Yarawang pretended to be confused as he looked at Zhen Dazhou. "No, he's still sick." Zhen Dazhou quickly said. "You're sick? I can't tell. Your mouth and ears aren't crooked, your hands and legs are working. You're a handsome young man, what's wrong with you?" Yarawang looked at Zhen Yingjun and said. "No, it's not on the surface, it's a hidden illness." Zhen Dazhou quickly said, "Yingjun can't get it up." "Can't get it up?" Yarawang froze. Zhao Qibing and Sihua also pretended to be surprised and opened their mouths wide. They looked at Zhen Yingjun in disbelief. "How can you not get it up? When did you find out that you can't get it up?" "Just now." Zhen Yingjun said hurriedly, "My dad and I went to the massage center under Sihua Bro's protection. I just wanted to take a hot shower to wash away my bad luck. Then I went to a prostitute and my lower body didn't have any reaction after taking 3 Viagra. Did you have this illness before?" Yarawang frowned and asked. "No, I wouldn't be a prostitute if I had this illness." Zhen Yingjun quickly shook his head. "I can't offend Linyi for those 2 girls. If you're not sick, why did you take Viagra? Why did you take so many?" Yarawang sneered in his heart. "You weren't sick before, but your kidneys are weak." Yarawang had already checked it before. "I." Zhen Yingjun was embarrassed and laughed dryly. "I just don't have much stamina." Yarawang nodded and looked at Zhen Yingjun carefully. "All right, give me your hand, I'll check your pulse." "Yes." Zhen Yingjun quickly gave his hand to Yarawang and Yarawang pretended to check his pulse. In fact, Zheningjuan's illness was caused by him and he didn't need to check his pulse at all. He was just pretending for the Zhen father and son. After a while, Yawang's brows slowly locked together. He didn't say anything and only closed his eyes in silence. Did he have a serious illness that scared the Zhen father and son? Zhen Dazhou was counting on Zhen Yingjun to carry on the family line. Now that he was disabled, what would he do in the future? Wouldn't he die without descendants? Zhen Yingjun, on the other hand, didn't think so far ahead, but he was also scared. After all, he couldn't play with women anymore and his life would lose a lot of fun. "You are not sick." After a while, Yarawang spat out these 3 words. "Not sick." Zhen Dazhou and Zhen Yingjun widened their eyes and looked at Yarawang in disbelief. Zhen Yingjun screamed, "How can I not be sick? That's the truth. Yarawang, if you don't believe me, I'll take off my pants for you to see." "There's no need for that." Yarawang waved his hand. "I said you're not sick because you're not sick, but you said you're impotent. This is real." "Oh, what do you mean?" Zhen Yingjun was confused. "You're impotent. This isn't an illness, someone did something to you." Yarawang sighed and looked at Zhen Yingjun sympathetically. "I didn't expect Linyi to be so evil. Not only did he make you sick on the surface, but he also made you a cripple in the dark. He's so evil." "Huh? Linyi again?" Zhen Yingjun was furious when he heard that it was also Linyi's fault. "Dad, this Linyi is too evil, I want to kill him." Dazhou was infuriated as well. He didn't think that Linyi would be this evil, leaving his son with such an illness. "Yingjun, don't worry, I'll avenge you." Dazhou was furious as well. He didn't expect Linyi to be this evil. Chapter 867. The price was a little low. Zhao Qibing and Lin Yi had a grudge against each other. If he could transfer the grudge to Zhen Dazhou and Zhen Yingjun and let them deal with Lin Yi, why not? Yarawang felt that this was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Master Bing would praise him again. Of course, We have to treat him first. Zhen Yingjun quickly said, Yarawang, can my illness be treated? Yes, but it's difficult. The king of medicine sighed. To me, the king of medicine, there is naturally no illness that cannot be cured, but the degree of difficulty is different. Previously, when I was treating you, I already wasted a lot of qi. Now, your illness is not small, and it also needs to use qi. Yarawang, don't worry, I won't shortchange your medical fees. Just tell me how much you need. Zhen Dazhou quickly said when he heard that his son could be saved. You have to ask Master Bing about this. If I use all my qi on you, then if other patients come, I won't be able to save them. At that time, the loss won't be just a little. Yarawang said with some difficulty, how about this? I'll treat Yingjun after I recover my pure energy, how about that? That way, the medical fees will be cheaper. This. How long do I have to wait? Zhen Dazhou didn't have much money left. He came to Songshan with 50 million to invest in the gambling boat, but before he even invested, he had to spend more than 10 million to treat his son's illness. From Yawang's tone, it seemed like treating his son's illness would cost a lot more than before. He hesitated. If he could wait for a while, why not wait if it was cheaper? 3 to 5 years, Yarawang said indifferently. Huh. Zhen Yingjun and Zhen Dazhou froze and looked at each other. 3 to 5 years. Zhen Dazhou thought that he would only have to wait for a few days, at most a month. Who knew that it would be 3 to 5 years? Wasn't that too long? Zhen Yingjun couldn't wait any longer. If something went wrong or he couldn't find Yarawang, wouldn't he be a eunuch for the rest of his life? Thinking of this, Zhen Yingjun couldn't help but look at Zhen Dazhou for help. Zhen Dazhou also thought of this. How could he wait? If he waited any longer and something went wrong, then his Zhen family would have no descendant. Zhen Dazhou gritted his teeth and asked, Master Bing, the consultation fee is not a problem. As long as we can cure Yingjuan's illness, money is not a problem. This. Master Bing hesitated and said awkwardly, Sai, it's not that I don't want to treat you, but life has a price, and qi is priceless. Zhen Dazhou only wanted to curse after hearing Master Bing's words. What kind of theory was this? Life was priceless, and qi was priceless. However, Zhen Dazhou couldn't get angry. He could only hold back his anger and said, It's okay. Just say it. At least 30 million. Chibing said faintly. Huh. Zhen Dazhou was dumbfounded when he heard the price. Although he expected the price to be high, he didn't expect it to be this high. 30 million. That was earned by Donghai bit by bit, and it was gone just like that. Master Bing, the price. Yarawang heard the price and was in a difficult position. Zhen Dazhou was overjoyed when he heard Yawang's words. It seemed that Yarawang also felt that the price was a bit high and wanted to help him. Yarawang was such a good person. Thus, he hurriedly echoed, Yes, this price is really a bit low. Yarawang followed, My qi is priceless. Zhen Dazhou almost vomited blood when he heard Yawang's words. So Yarawang thought that the price was too low, not too high. Yet, he had foolishly agreed with them. He was truly foolish to the extreme. Oh, Zhen Dazhou, you think so too? It seems like I'm really a kind person, asking for such a low price. Zhao Qibing shook his head in self-mockery. If that's the case, you can add more, that. Haha, I'm a bit short on money recently, 30 million it is. Zhen Dazhou awkwardly agreed to the price. How could he dare to disagree? If he didn't, it might become 40 million soon. 30 million it is. I've already said it. Yarawang, this is the price, right? What do you think? Zhao Qibing looked at Yarawang and asked. Okay, whatever Master Bing says, we'll do it. Yarawang nodded. Thank you, Master Bing, I'll go prepare the money now. Zhen Dazhou said, Yingjun and I will leave first, we'll come back when we have the money. Dad, why don't you prepare the money and I'll stay here for treatment? Zhen Yingjun didn't understand why his father wanted him to leave with him. How can we do that? How can we let Yarawang treat you without money? You're so stupid. Zhen Dazhou glared at Zhen Yingjun and said. Zhen Yingjun had no choice but to follow his father out of the bar and asked curiously, Dad, why did you drag me out? It'll be better if you let me treat the illness first, it'll prevent more problems. We came in a hurry and thought it was a side effect, but it doesn't seem to be. So, I'm thinking, should we go to the hospital and have a look? What if the hospital can treat it too? Then we won't have to waste money, right? Jean Dargeau wasn't stupid and had some intelligence. You're right, I was too impatient. Zhen Yingjun nodded. Yeah, 30 million can be used for anything, but if it's used for treatment, it'll hurt my heart. The father and son discussed and stopped a taxi to go straight to the hospital. However, they went to the First People's Hospital, the male specialist hospital and so on. In the end, they couldn't find anything. The medicine king was right about his illness. He didn't have any illness, so what could the hospital find? This was all Yaowang's doing. Whoever started the trouble should end it. How would others know how Yaowang did it? After coming out of the hospital, the father and son completely believed Yaowang's words. Jean Dargeau sighed. It seems like you really aren't sick, it's that Lin Yi who did something to you. Even the big hospitals said that you aren't sick, it seems like only Yaowang can treat you. Chapter 868. Revenge Yingjun, I can't let this Lin Yi go even if you don't say it. He made me lose 40 million. Do you think my money is so easily lost? This debt, I will definitely put it on Lin Yi's head. Dargeau laughed coldly and said fiercely. He was also exasperated. Who was he, Jean Dargeau? When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Right, Dad, I heard that Meng Yao's family's pretty rich, and Lin Yi's her bodyguard. Why don't we make a move on Meng Yao and get her to pay us the money? Jin Yingjun immediately turned his attention to Meng Yao. He more or less knew about Lin Yi from Zhao Qibing. Of course, Jin Yingjun didn't know that Zhao Qibing purposely leaked this information to him so that he could be cannon fodder. I know, I've already asked someone to investigate. Pengzhan Industries is very famous in the province. Dargeau, on the other hand, had his sights set on Pengzhan. He'd thought it through very well. If his son was in this state because of his daughter, then who else would pay for the medical fees? Not only did he have to pay for the medical fees, but he also had to give some compensation. Yes. Zhen Yingjun heard that his father also wanted to cause trouble for Meng Yao and he felt relieved. But, we must kill that Lin Yi. It won't be easy to kill Lin Yi. I heard that he is a master at the early phase of the mystic class and that Li Fu beside Pengzhan is also a master at the peak of the late phase of the golden class. It won't be easy for us to touch them. Jean Dargeau got some of the information from his investigation, but most of it came from Zhao Qibing. What's the use of those masters? Don't we have guns? No matter how strong he is, can he be invulnerable? Jin Yingjun said in disdain, Dad, where are your men who are doing business on the high seas? Tell them to come back and kill Lin Yi. Although the Zhen family had some business in the East Sea, the most profitable business was the one that had no capital. The Zhen family had a pirate group codenamed Firearm Team that specialized in robbing cargo ships on the high seas. Every year, it provided the Zhen family with a large amount of wealth. Of course, this business didn't belong to the Zhen family. With the Zhen family's strength, they couldn't afford such a large business. This business was managed by Jean Dargeau on behalf of a distant relative. That distant relative took the majority, while Jean Dargeau only took 20%. Childish. You're going to call in a firearm team from the city and give Lin Yi a round of bullets? Wouldn't that be waiting for the police to destroy our Zhen family? Jean Dargeau glared at Jin Yingjun and said angrily, although these cultivators are afraid of guns, a sneak attack with 1 or 2 guns won't be able to hit them because they are too fast. The only way to kill them is if a group of people fire at the same time and shoot randomly. But, unless there's no one around, if there's such a large-scale gunfight in the city, I'll be arrested as the leader of a terrorist organization tomorrow. I'm sorry, Dad, I didn't think it through. Jin Yingjun thought that having a firearm team was a great thing and he wasn't afraid of anything in this world. However, after hearing his father's words, he realized that he was taking it for granted. But your suggestion is good. I have a plan to deal with them. Jean Dargeau's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. Let's go, we'll go find Yaowang first. Dad, how are you going to deal with them? Jin Yingjun was impatient. I'm going to ask for help from your fourth uncle and ask him to send his master to help, Zhendarzhou said. This fourth uncle was Zhendarzhou's business partner. 80% of the business on the sea belonged to him and Zhendarzhou was working for him. Oh, Ma Zhu who works for fourth uncle? Zhen Yingjun quickly asked. I heard that he's also a mystic division master. Yes, when we were fighting for business on the sea, your fourth uncle sent him to help me. You didn't see how good he was. Zhendarzhou seemed to be recalling the events of the past. One kick, and one of them was kicked to death. Even his head was sent flying. Can he deal with Lin Yi? Zhen Yingjun didn't care much about cultivators and warriors. He always felt that they weren't as good as guns, but according to his father, they couldn't use guns on a large scale in the city. Of course he can, Zhendarzhou said. He's a physical master in the middle phase of the mystic division. I heard from Zhao Qibing that Lin Yi is only in the early phase of the mystic division. Of course he can deal with him. Zhendarzhou didn't know the difference between physical and spiritual, but he felt that the middle phase of the mystic division was definitely stronger than the early phase of the mystic division. Then let him kill Lin Yi directly? But that won't be enough. Zhen Yingjun felt that killing Lin Yi directly was too easy on him. Of course we can't kill him directly. Darzhou shook his head. What we need to do is to let Ma Zhu kidnap Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. His opponent is only that Li Fu. As long as he defeats Li Fu, we'll be able to capture Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. With the hostages, we can threaten Peng Zhan to ransom them. Of course, we can ask Lin Yi to deliver the ransom to a deserted place and let the firearms team shoot him to death. Great. Not only can we get a large sum of money, but we can also take revenge. Zhen Yingjuan's eyes lit up after hearing his father's words. All right, it's settled then, but I have to be cured first. Meng Yaro and Yu Shu, I will definitely kill these two girls. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Zhendarzhou laughed along with his son. A revenge plan was formed just like that. In the floating cloud bar, Zhao Qibing said unhappily, what is Zhendarzhou doing with Zhen Yingjun? He doesn't want to be cured. Why aren't they back yet? No, I think Zhendarzhou wants to take Zhen Yingjun to the hospital to confirm if he's sick or not. Yarowang saw through Zhendarzhou's intention. Oh. Would the hospital be able to tell? Qibing paused and asked. Master Bing, don't you trust me, Yarowang? Don't worry, they'll be back soon. Yarowang said, Master Bing, you'll definitely earn this money. Ha, then I'm relieved. Zhao Qibing nodded, that's fast, but there aren't many fat sheep like them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make money from real estate.